want to be a winner, not only have to understand how to win, but to understand how to consistently win.
We're the freaking New York Jets, and we're built for this shit.
That's our brand of football. If you want to be a winner, not only have to understand how to win, but to understand how to consistently win.
We're the freaking New York Jets, and we're built for this shit.
That's our brand of football.
Good evening, everybody. Happy training camp eve, ladies and gentlemen. Shiners, tomorrow, Veterans Report. We have camp. We have football. There's no more what ifs. There's no more projecting. The New York Jets will be in the house tomorrow. Chills down the spine from just thinking about it, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Nick Shine Show. I am your host, Nick. Producer Cisco Lopez is in the back. Blitz BK is the musical artist on the show. We just had a meeting of the minds a little bit, so we're running a little bit late. We got some things in the works. I'm not going to lie. We are in the kitchen doing a Chef Kev. We are cooking up, as they say. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. Blitz and Cisco are cooking. I'm more just the guy at the table placing the order. So I got to give them all the credit. They are the artistes on the show. I'm the mouth. That's how this works. I think we got a good arrangement. I am like Diana Rossini. I'm known for my mouth. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Nick Shine Show. We are going to start off with the aforementioned Blitz BK. Hit it.
Get ready for this All Jets Pro. Get ready for this all-time host. Get ready on your mark, set, go. Get ready, this the Nick Shine Show. Green and white nights, here the city locked in. Let's walk, Jets talk, another season with friends, another season with Glenn. I hope to see some more wins, I'm so seasoned with the pen. I hope we season the fins. We see brief, quick spins, release the beast from within. 20 shining like Nick, you know we gotta call in. You can make a couple Jets points, jokes in your spins, give away a couple memberships. If you ball in, he God gives away some death. Plus his tunes are the best, gives you plenty time to talk how to improve on these Jets. Win or lose, we don't sweat. We don't boo on these vets. Ain't no booze for this vet, but we boo on the press and then move on to the next. Every year, June to June, we talk New York Jets. This is Nick Shine time. This is New York's best. Might have lost his big toe, but never lost his breath and never lost his step. Never.
Here we go, baby.
J-E-T-S, Jets, 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 let's go, baby.
Get ready for this All Jets Pro. Get ready for this all-time host. Get ready on your mark, set, go. Get ready, this the Nick Shine Show.
Shout out to Blitz. Thank you for that. Now, here's what we got going on, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you that missed last night, we had Y2K, Adam, New York Sports Wicker Media with us. We did the linebacker breakdown. In a few moments, Dom C's got a parenting thing he's got to do. He's got to pick up his son from a practice. He's on his way home right now. He'll be joining me. We'll be doing the secondary breakdown. So we'll go over the cornerbacks, the safeties, with Brownlee, Minka being hybrids. I thought it was a good idea that we just put it under one umbrella, and Dom will be here. We'll break that down in a few minutes. Now, here's what we got going on the show, ladies and gentlemen. First things first. We got this Sunday night, football's back, ladies and gentlemen. So what does that mean? We went big with a prize this week. No jersey, a helmet. Not a mini helmet, a full-size helmet. Garrett Wilson full-size helmet this Sunday night will be raffled off. Folks, get your raffle entries in. You know the dealio. $5 super chats and up. Gifted memberships get you on the wheel. And thank you to everyone for their contributions on Sunday. And Stack won a Wesley Walker green jersey, which I ordered and is sending to his home here in the States. Also, folks, and I'm going to pull this throughout. Cisco, if you can get the GoFundMe link, I want to drop the GoFundMe link for Stack. So far, we've raised $2,897 for Stack. The goal was $5,000. He lost everything. If anybody contributes, if you have it in your heart, forget about this show tonight. Put your money towards Stack. He lost a computer, TV, his clothes. They were able to get him some pants. He's ordered some other things. They got him underwear and pants. But where he's at, it might take a while for some things to get there. So anything that we can do as a community to help him out. I was texting with him this morning on my way to work. I appreciate you guys. I know that this is no bullshit, the greatest fan base in all of sports. And we need to rally a little bit more. I'll be making another donation after the show tonight as well to help him along his way. But to everyone who has donated already, thank you. You know, it says a lot about someone's character when they can put their own desires aside and say, you know what, I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit to help out somebody who's in a situation that I couldn't even fathom being in myself. Thank God he's alive. It's the most important thing with the missile strike that was a direct hit where his living quarters are. Just you think about that sentence and you think about how blessed we are to still have Stack. So if we can do everything that we can as a community to help him rebuild, I've seen the pictures. Everything's rubble. The fire, he told me, is exactly where he lives. So thank God that he got out of there. Thank God they have their defense strategies in place to get them out of there. So Stack, we love you if you're watching. And if not, you know I love you because I tell you every day in the DM. So folks, thank you for that. GoFundMe is there. GoFundMe is pinned in the chat right now. Let me pin that. Anyone who donates during the show, let me know, and I'll give you a raffle entry for Sunday. Anyone who donates to the GoFundMe during the show, since you're not going to donate here, you're just going to donate there to help out our friend, raffle entry for you. So I want to do everything I can to help you guys. You guys are the best. I love you with all my heart. You know that. So, all right. Prayers up for Stack as always. Shout out to Derek. He gifted a channel membership that went to DJ Cooch Smooch. Shout out to Mr. Cooch Smooch. Thank you, Derek. Appreciate you, bro. You were on the wheel for Sunday's Garrett Wilson full-size helmet. All right. Let's going through everything that we got here. We also have this announcement. Anyone like Derek who does contribute to the show tonight, any show that Cisco donates in, it's Cisco's appreciation raffle. At the end of the night, if Cisco or myself donate during the show, those raffle entries will then be up for grabs to anyone else who donated during the program because we're not going to win prizes on this show. So we want to give back to you, fine individuals. And when I mean fine, I mean sexy as hell because you're all beautiful people to us. Look at that. Right on cue. Cisco gifted 5, ladies and gentlemen. So there are 5 raffle entries up for grabs at the end of the show. Sunny, 1985. It's a good year. John Mitchell. Bear Cuts Hair. Team Curry. Jim Pedinato. Thank you, Cisco. I appreciate you. And I'm going to stop talking so you get your moment to enjoy this.
Here we go, baby. J-E-T-S, Jets, 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 let's go, baby.
All right. I didn't see anything. Nothing's been sniped by us. Sometimes if there's terminology, YouTube will block it. I sometimes take my jokes too far in Jake's chat, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, man. I thought that was a good joke. And then I'll switch to my other account and be like, oh, YouTube blocked it. So Peg and Artie probably got a little feisty with their comment, and YouTube algorithm was like, All right, something I got to talk about. Because I know how Jets fans are. I know how you all think. No, the Jets are not going to trade for Vita Vea or Vita Vea or Vita Vea. What the big defensive tackle. He's making $18 million already this year, and he wants an extension, and he wants more. That's not something the Jets are going to get involved in. The Jets are getting younger at the defensive line. I don't know if you guys have paid attention. Yes, we brought in Animata, but it's a very low contract. Yes, we brought in Kingsley. Phillips is here, but those are short-term risks. They're not paying a guy that long in the tooth, that big of money to come here on a rebuilding team. You're not going to eat up that salary cap for now and the future. Love the player, but he's not a fit here. This is not Madden. And I feel that too many Jets fans get the every time a player's available, we need to say we need that player. That's not how it works. This is not a game of Madden where you just acquire all the talent with salary mode turned off and there's no repercussions and you can just move their ratings to a 99 if you draft a player. No. It's not how this works. The NFL salary cap, the NFL window to win is important. Now, we draft a rookie quarterback next year, and that rookie quarterback gets us places in year one that we don't expect. All right. 2028, yeah, you go make that move for a Vita Vea. You go make that move for, I don't know, a big-time player, whoever it may be. If your rookie quarterback next year shows the ability to be a top quarterback in this league immediately, you go all in. But you're not going all in and taking on that contract, giving him an extension. And what are you going to do? You're running a 3-4 the majority of the time. You already got Sweat in the middle of the defense. Doesn't make sense. Very good, Paul. Paul's a wordsmith. It's not Madden. It's maddening. Nice. Well done. Folks, hit the like button. Oh, Vita Blue. Vita you. Vita me. Vita Blue. Great name. Bob Tewksbury is still one of the greatest names of all time. I used to love getting that baseball card back in the 80s as I was a kid. But folks, we got 37 of you here watching. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed to the channel. And if you've been subscribed and you keep coming back, thank you to you as well. We're over 2,400. We're at 24. Where we at? Let's refresh it. We're at 2,402. So we're on pace to hit 2,500 by kickoff in Tennessee. Thank you to everyone for your support. Thank you for those of you that hit the like button when you watch all the shorts coming out. Again, the Nick Shine Show on IG, Nick Shine Show on X. Please go subscribe over there. All the Wayne Corbett shorts are there. We'll be reposting the Wesley Walker and the Ken O'Briens and the Connie Carbergs too, now that there's more eyes on these platforms. So thank you, everybody. Love you. You're the best. Oh, Dan Quisenberry. I mean, Dennis Eckersley, not only a great pitcher, but that's a great name. A lot of great names. A lot of great names back in the 80s. And the mustaches, the facial hair, the mullets. Go through 1985 Topps, the baseball card set, and you have some wild names, photos, mustaches. And they look like a dozen Ron Jeremys in the 85 Topps. So it was a wild time to be alive. All right. We're waiting for Dom C to get here. I don't want to get too much into the secondary. But again, for those of you just getting here, this Sunday night's raffle, we have a full-size Garrett Wilson helmet to give away. Appreciate all you guys and gals who are in the raffle already from Sunday night. And this Sunday night. So, all right, we'll go over the show schedule for the week as well. Let's get that going. We got a lot. Okay. Hey, yo, Holmes, what up? Everybody brace yourself. I apologize in advance for anything that Yo Holmes says in the chat. He's a character. I love him. I wouldn't change him for anything in the world, but I do apologize in advance. Here's what we got for the rest of the week. We got tomorrow night, Veterans Report tomorrow. So we will be here tomorrow night. I'm looking for it. Where did you go? My lovely. Oh, I put it on Facebook. I didn't put it in Discord yet. All right. Tonight, Dom C, any moment. Tuesday night, 6:30, training camp opens. Nick Shine Show. Wednesday night, special time. We're going old school here. We're going late. 8 p.m. Ryan Sampson from the New York Post will join me for the defensive line preview and our training camp recap of day one. Thursday, training camp recap, 6:30 p.m. Friday, there's no practice, a day of rest. Saturday night, 7 p.m., training camp recap. Hoping to be at camp. And then we have the Chef Kevin event, so it'll be later on by the time I get home. So we're going to do 7 o'clock Saturday night. And then we're going to do Sunday night, Shine Time and Prime Time, 7 p.m. I am working on another former New York Jet, former media member with SNY to be on the show. I'm going to try to get him for Sunday night. So stay tuned. As always, if you are in the Discord, you will be the first to know everything that is going on with this program. Paul, it was cool to see my all-time favorite safety on Jake's show this morning. Eric McMillan. I put it in the super chat. Like, I was 10 years old, and Eric McMillan, it felt to me his rookie year in 88. Every time the ball was in the air, you thought Eric McMillan was going to intercept it. Every single time, you had that confidence. And, he had 8 interceptions as a rookie. We would take 8 in a season right now. Listen, I know it's a different era. I know the rules were different. I know you could beat the crap out of the receivers, and I know you could beat the crap out of the quarterbacks. So the quarterbacks are making throws that they didn't have the safety in the pocket that quarterbacks nowadays have. And if they do, they flail like Josh Allen. The guy's 6'6", made of steel, but he flails like a little bitch every time he's touched. That's why I have zero respect for him. And anyone who tells me that I'm wrong, you're wrong. But yeah, Eric McMillan was really cool. It was fun listening to him talk about Revis and his technique. And I'm thinking to myself as I'm listening to it, this sounds like a coach. And then he says in the next sentence, I'll tell my players this, that I'm coaching in high school. And I was like, there it is. So you could just tell with the way he was speaking about it, he was coming from a coach's mentality. So I really enjoyed hearing him. And of course, the Marty Lyons Foundation is a great cause, and great show by Jake this morning, and getting out there. It's something that I would love to do, even if I got to buy a ticket and go be a part of the event itself. That is definitely a bucket list thing that I would love to personally do to help the cause and just be there with all those amazing people. Yo, Holmes, all right, listen, man. Game respects game, bro. There's times I'm in other people's chats and I get a little unruly. I know who I be. And I've, if the hat was on forwards, I'd tip the hat to you, my brother. Nothing but respect to you. You know that. I mean, no disrespect to you or the family, I swear. Shout out to Lou. Indeed. So last night, see, while I'm waiting for Dom here, I'm going to give you guys a little peek behind the Nick Shine Show curtain. All right. I have this habit of when I pop my melatonin at night and my brain starts to wind down, I shop. As I'm winding down, I buy things. I don't know. I'll go on Amazon. I'll go on eBay. I'll go wherever. And I just say, let me buy something. I bought the sauna one night that I have at like midnight one night. I was like, let me buy the sauna. Look at that. It's a couple $100 off. Woo, that's a deal. Could not be a deal, but to me, it looks like a deal when the melatonin's in me. And I get it. And last night, while I was in my melatonin medley, if you will, I bought 2 tickets for me and Nikki for Nashville. We're in section 110, row J. So those are locked in. I locked in the hotel Monday night last week, and the flight was taken care of the morning that the schedule came out. Me, Nikki, and Jake are all together on the flight. Yeah, melatonin mart. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Listen, I've done worse things at night with consuming other things. So if this is the worst thing I'm doing right now in life, I will gladly sign up for that. No problem. But yeah, shout out to Lou. I believe all those guys, Lou's got like the whole row. He's got like 20 tickets in row M. So I'll be a couple rows in front of them, and I will be standing on the arms of the chairs, leading the chants and getting our section. And I know Cisco is in 109, right? You're in the section next to us. Kevin Zwicker's in 110. I think he's in row Q. I forget. Kev, I see you're in the chat. But listen, we'll all get together. I'll pay people to move their seats so we can all get together. Rick Kent, the only thing they're throwing is their hands up when we score touchdowns, baby. Now, this portion of the show is brought to you by a pause, so Jets fans can Google what a touchdown is. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. It's when you get 6 points on the offense and you score. Boom, 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 boom. Thank you. Shout out to Alex Trebek. Rest in peace. Row P. All right. Look at you throwing the big P in the chat. All right, brother. I see your game. I respect you. Let me give you a melatonin and take you to the car dealership with me. I refinanced my truck 10 days ago on Friday in the middle of the night. I was on Credit Karma. I was like, oh, look at this. Got a good deal. Okay. Yeah, I've already done it, Kev. I've already done it. You name anything. Not that, you sickos. Nice. Rick's in row P2. Awesome. I love that we're all going to be together. We're taking that section over. It's going to be absolute madness in section 110. I don't know if they're ready for us, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, speaking of a big P, we're talking about Rick Kent, Kevin Zwicker in row P. We have Dom C here with us joining the program with a big P on his head for the Pirates. What's up, brother?
What's up, Nicky Shine? How are you, buddy?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good. Hang on. I'm just having one issue here. Let me fix this.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dom C's appearance was brought to you by the 2-Minute Man.
That's what. How do you know what my wife calls me?
Oh, did I send you? I didn't post it, but Cribette said to me, he goes, when I first heard the name Nick Shine, he's like, I thought it was a porn name. And I go, yeah, really short films. He goes, yeah, real short. So Cribette's one of the boys, dude. He was great. How you doing? Is your son still alive in the baseball tournament?
We have one game left where it's pool play. So, it's round robin, but they lost the first game in heartbreaking fashion. They won last night. So they got one more, but it doesn't look very good. I think we're going to probably be eliminated tomorrow or Wednesday, whenever the rain lets up.
Yeah, it might not. It might be into August by the time the rain lets up. It doesn't look good here this week.
Yeah.
It came down so heavy today, and then the sun's out in the distance because when the sun starts to set, it'll dip below the storm. Yeah. So the sun's coming in as it's just downpouring today on the way home. It was really bad. Some people pop up in the chat and they get a special hello. Jets Johnny, love you, bro.
Johnny, what's up, buddy? So how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Can't complain. Life is good.
Good.
I'm happy to say that. It's no bullshit.
Amen.
You know, I'm very, very blessed, and I'm very, very grateful for the life that I'm being allowed to live.
It's a beautiful thing, dude.
Yeah, it really is. And you know me when I was at my worst. So to be where I'm at from that 40 months ago is it's a godsend. And I am forever grateful for you, Green Bean, everyone who helped me, encouraged me, and got me to where I'm at.
What friends do, dude.
Amen. So you laughed at the goddamn thumbnail when I sent it to you today. What was that?
That was great.
Producer Cisco last night after the show, he's like, "We got Dom on tomorrow. Any ideas?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I've had a theme with the positional previews of us being the players, me and the guest being the player. I was like, Dom C is Darrell Rivas intercepting the ball. Me is Victor Green leading the way blocking. And he's like, "I got you." And then I send it to you and you throw the haha. I'm like, bastard. I like that one.
It was great. I loved it.
So let's get into it.
Yes, sir.
You did something in the thumbnail that this team could not do last season. They've made an effort, right? They bring in Fitzpatrick, they bring in Wright, they draft Pons, they bring in Belton. They're made an effort of guys who've got their hands on the ball and not just knocked it down, but have caught it. It's a big thing in this league. So give me your thoughts. Let's start at your call. It's corners or safeties? Where you want to start?
Your show, man. Either one.
I'll go with safety because
all right, corners it is.
Though.
Corners it
oh,
is.
Right. There we go. The guest always choose. So at corner, they got a lot of guys that are their own guys here, right? They draft AZ Thomas, they draft Pons, they trade for Brownlee. You know, they're building the room in the vision that they want. How do you see year 2 going and then year 1 with Aaron Glenn's scheme here?
Well, it's really year 2 with Aaron Glenn's scheme, right? I mean, I know that he wasn't calling the plays, but he installed his defense, and although I don't want to downplay, going 17 games or 18 games. How many is the season now? Was it 17 or 18 games? It's 18 weeks, 17 games. Yeah, 17 games without an interception is wild. It's an absolute anomaly. You're destined to fall into an interception here or there. And, I think it's probably overplayed a little too much. Like the Jets made plays on the ball. They just couldn't catch it. Couldn't seal the deal. They couldn't, actually finish the plays. So, I expect that there to be positive regression in the turnover aspect from the defense. But the interesting thing is Aaron Glenn right now calling the plays, so, there's a couple principles that Aaron Glenn is going to, that he installed last year. You got to remember when Saleh was here, rewind a couple years ago, what was our defense made of? Our defense was very, very heavy influence in cover 4, play everything in front of you, a lot of zone concepts, everything's kept in front of you. And, you just suffocate receivers, suffocate patterns so that, your front, and if your front 4 gets home, you're gold. Just clog up the lanes where the quarterbacks can throw. It's not Aaron Glenn's scheme. Aaron Glenn is very much a lot different. Aaron Glenn is going to mix his coverages a lot more. He's going to rely on a lot more. He relies on a lot more man-to-man coverage. He's going to disguise a lot of things. He's going to show something and really come out of and come through with something else. There's going to be a lot of manufactured pressures, sim pressures, blitzes, and stuff like that. Lightning and thunder blitzes, meaning the corners and the safeties are going to be coming a lot more. But to do so, you do that. And I'm not saying it's a bad system at all. There's been tons of defenses that, operate and excel on blitzing and manufacturing that stuff and confusing you. Minnesota does it very well right now. Obviously, we lived through the Rex and Rob Ryan years and the stuff that they did there, bringing the house. So, you're going to see a lot of different pressures and a lot of different simulated, created and simulated coverages. A lot of man match. He'll play zone on one half, man on the other. And then there's the aspect where there's going to be times where he just lines up straight across, cover one, cover zero. Man, I'm going to just put my best guy and get physical on your best guy.
Now, do they have the corners to do that?
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that.
It's not the Revis Cromartie days, right? Where you can island everybody and just go nuts.
Correct. And I think he understands that. And I think that he's bringing guys in that mold and no one near, let's Revis and Cromartie on a completely different level. Sauce was at, near that level, but he's gone, obviously. But Sauce really excelled. Sauce was a good, long, physical, cornerback. I was a big fan of Sauce, still am. Think he's a good player. But he played much better with the ball in front of him so that he can use his eyes and stuff like that. So he's really meant for. He
could get turned around a lot, and he did, right? If you did double moves, he would start to have to smack and grab to gain ground because he's got a longer frame, so his hips weren't the greatest when he was on a swivel.
Yeah, but I mean, his recovery speed was awesome. His hand fighting was so good. But he's really better as a zone corner than he is playing, straight up on an island.
Yeah.
With like Revis. So, you look at the cornerback room now, right? And we'll talk about who I think is going to. Hang on, sorry. Computer's going crazy. I'll talk about later who I think are going to be the starters, but just going down the list right now, you have Brandon Stevens, who's the veteran in the room. And Brandon Stevens, people hate on Brandon Stevens from his first 2 games last year where he didn't play particularly well. But I think over the middle of the season, especially, and into the back end of the season, I thought he improved a lot, and what he does is, he's very physical. He's a very good tackling cornerback, which is a theme that we'll talk about with this defensive back room, is that, he can support the run on the flank very well. Brandon Stevens is also, people don't realize, he's also our highest paid player this year, with the Garrett and Brees contracts don't kick in yet. So they're still working off of other stuff. Brandon Stevens is actually the most expensive player on our roster at $12 million and change. $13.9 million. He's our highest paid player.
Welcome to the Jets.
That alone, plus the veteran leadership, plus the ability to really support the run in the perimeter and on the flank, for me, I think is going to land Brandon Stevens one of the starting roles there. Can he be better? Yes. Is he a CB1? No. But I don't think the Jets have a true CB1 yet on the roster, and that's talking about, the next guy I'm going to talk about, who's probably my favorite guy in the whole defensive backfield, A.Z. Thomas. A.Z. Thomas is fit in the mold of what Aaron Glenn wants to do on defense. He's again, a taller, longer, physical, get your nose right up in there, press man, cover cornerback. Yeah. Right. That's what, that to me epitomizes what Glenn wants on the outside.
That was one of the things that disappointed me so much last year. Forget the record. Forget that. When it was as bad as it was and we traded Sauce, one of the things that I looked forward to the most was, what can A.Z. Thomas be? Put him on an island. Let's see what he can do. And then we lose him as well. So with all of the disappointments from last season, that's near the top for me, because I wanted to see what that kid could do to have a realistic expectation going into year 2. Yeah. And now it feels like it's added to the list of what can he be instead of what he is.
Yeah. Well, and remember, he was a third round draft pick. So there was no, and you had Sauce.
But I'm going to quote you. He was number 17 on your big board.
17 on my big board.
I remember.
Absolutely. Just, the ability for him, like I said, to track the ball, to play physical. He understands leverage. He understands how to use the boundary, which is something that people don't realize, as a defender. Revis, I thought, was phenomenal at it as he used that sideline as an extra defender, right?
He did.
He was able to
He
shield.
made you run your route where you didn't want to run it. He forced you off your spot, and I've never seen anybody do that like he did. Ty Law was really good too, but
Yes.
Revis and they're family, so they're cut from the same cloth.
Yeah.
And Revis was just great at you're not getting where you want to go, and I know where you want to go, and I'm not allowing it.
Yeah. So I'm really interested to see him. And he's my prediction to break the interception streak. I think he's the one who's gonna net the first INT of the year. But
when we're
don't
going
know.
on record here, Dom. We need on record.
I don't know.
I'm going Ponds on the first drive of the season.
Well,
Bailey with the pressure, Ponds with the pick. Forgive me.
Yeah.
And right away, we're talking about this greatest Jets draft class of all time. One drive into the season.
Yeah. So I think those guys are going to probably be your day one starters. Now it's camp and a bunch of things can happen. Nahshon Wright is an interesting addition. Obviously he had six picks last year.
5, I believe.
Or 5, I'm sorry. 5, but he's bounced around for a little bit. Was with Minnesota, then was with Dallas, before he was with Chicago last year, and really popped out and made a name for himself. Again, what do you get in Nahshon Wright? You get a guy who's 6'4", long, lanky arms, can run, can make plays on the ball, something that the Jets need. So you have a 6'4" Nahshon Wright, you have a 6'1", you have a 6'1" Brandon Stevens, and you have a 6'1" Azarie Thomas. So they're a lot bigger on the outside, fits the bill of what Aaron Glenn wants to do. He wants to get up there. He wants to jam. Again, not let those free releases go on the outside. And guys that can really, really, excel in man coverage. I'd say of the 3, Brandon Stevens is probably the biggest question mark, just because we watched teams, pick him apart last year. Now, he got a lot of attention because teams were not going to throw at Sauce last year when they were both on the field. I don't know how it's going to be this year. Maybe he doesn't, I don't know if he's number 1 on the depth chart. I don't know if he's covering ones. I don't know if AZ Thomas is going to cover ones. I don't know, that it could be maybe they play sides. I'm not sure about that. But you get guys that fit in the mold of what Aaron Glenn wants to do.
Question for you.
Shoot.
With Wright being 6'4", does he have the ability to cover tight ends with that size, or is that not his frame? Are you leaving that for Brownlee and Minka, who might be more physical?
So I'm going to get,
because tight ends, we know tight ends have been killing us, and a 6'4" guy might sound like a good matchup for the tight end, but he doesn't have the body frame for that, right? In your opinion?
Yeah, no, he's like a $185. I mean, he's 6'4" and 2.
So he's built like Sauce.
Yeah, but long arms, big catch radius.
I got something in my eye. I got to rinse my eye out real quick. Can you just talk cornerbacks?
Sure.
I'm going to throw a question up. Super chat from Cisco. Dom, out of our secondary, who do you predict will be our MVP on top of everything you're talking about? I will be right back.
Oh, man. Who's going to be the MVP of the defensive back room? Jeez Louise. I think probably the best player right now you can probably bank on is just through the experience is Minka. But I really want to see what some of these younger cats can do. The Nahshon Wrights and the AZ Thomases of the world. The slot corners, which both of them I love. I love their fits in this defense, so on and so forth. So you talk about culture and you talk about, wanting to make a statement. And I think these guys that Aaron Glenn bought in the defensive backfield really fit the mold of what he wants to do. He wants to get in there. He wants guys that are tough. He wants guys that obviously can cover, and he wants guys that can really fit the run. And everyone on this defensive backfield, minus maybe Quantez Stiggers, who's probably more of a depth piece and special teams guy at this point, really can do that. You have, those guys on the outside. You also have Trey Brown, who they brought in from Seattle. He's a little bit smaller, but again, a physical guy, tackles very, very well. He's been, all over the place between, started his career in Seattle. I think he was with the Rams for a little while before coming over to the Jets. I think he played a little bit of time in San Francisco, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that. So he's a depth piece and probably not a lock for the roster. But, I would say as a whole right now, I'd give the cornerback room a C on paper. Let's see how they're going to produce. I think that there's means to really improve that room. You can be rid of Brandon Stevens' contract if it doesn't pan out next year. You can be rid of Quantas Stiggers if you want to next year. So, I think that with all the draft capital that we have, I think cornerback is going to be one of the areas next year that they may look, whether it's the free agent route or it's through the draft. And you're hoping that, I'm hoping that we figure out that AZ Thomas is going to be a long-term piece on the outside for the Jets.
Yeah.
And then you figure out opposite of him. This year it's going to be, it's going to be Stevens. It's going to be, Nashawn Wright in some spots. Maybe Nashawn Wright pushes one of them for a starting job. I don't know about that yet. That's one of the camp battles that I think is going to be most interesting thing to come out. Then you go. Yeah, go ahead.
Well done. He said, I got to rinse my eye
hold
out.
on.
That's what she said. No, I said, well done. I knew somebody was going to be wise ass about me having to go. And it was Joe Holmes. And he said, I got to rinse my eye out. That's what she said.
Yeah.
So it's called for. I would have done it if I was watching a show and that happened. So well done, Holmes.
Yeah.
So who was your answer? I came back and you were talking about Stiggers and AZ Thomas, but who was your answer?
I said in that spot, like if I had to pick one of the DBs to be the MVP, I'm going to go with the experience and the leadership of Minkah Fitzpatrick. It just makes sense. Yeah.
Can somebody else? You hope somebody else surpasses him, right? You hope that two guys are better than what Minka's been, and you just hope that the secondary starts making plays and everyone's contributing. But that's the safe bet, right? That would be the house money.
Yes. Well, we talked about Glenn wanting to be, mix up his looks and his schemes and do a lot of different things. And I think the outside guys are the outside guys where you get a lot of flexibility and where you can mix and match a lot. And you talked about the tight ends for a while is what you have now in the slot. Nickel cornerback is a completely different demon these days than it was growing up. When we grew up, we had Ray Mickens in the slot, and he was just that. He could run, he could move with short area quickness. He played very aggressively.
Sticky Mickey, as Wayne Corbett called them, Sticky Mickey. They had many fights at practice.
Yeah, they have. I think the slot spot, slot corner spot or nickel corner is going to be probably a strength for this team. I gotta sneeze. Hang on.
Jets are going to win the Super Bowl.
Ooh,
it's true.
I tried to mute it. I couldn't get to my mouse.
See, it's true.
So I don't know how much the average fan, and I'm not saying anyone, you or anyone in this chat is an average fan, but I don't know if people realize how good of a player D'Angelo Ponce is. If he's 3 inches taller, he's a top 15 pick last year.
Yeah.
Like he's that good.
Yeah.
He can play a role. Like I know that they talked about him having that inside outside versatility, and I think he can do it. I don't know if I want to match up D'Angelo Ponce against AJ Brown.
Jefferson.
Jefferson, I'm fine with that. I don't know if I'm more concerned about the AJ Browns, the Michael Pittmans, the Mike Evans of the world, those really big physical X receivers. Because I think that's where he's going to be a little bit overmatched. But as a slot cornerback, I don't think you can. People don't realize how good he is. He's an athletic freak. He's as physical as they come. He can lay the wood.
Yeah, he can. Jarring hits, ball knocking the ball out hits. So
he's always got his nose in the ball. The combination of him and Brownlee, both of them competing for that slot role, I love. Now, Brownlee has some deficiencies in coverage. That's a fact. But there's probably no better, I'd probably say there's probably no better run fitting true nickel cornerback in this league outside of Jarvis Brownlee. I think he plays downhill like a linebacker, a small linebacker.
Yeah.
Pons can do that too, and I
Okay.
fully expect Minkah Fitzpatrick to man the corner slot in certain situations in big nickel concepts when you have three safeties or when you have, in dime packages, when you bring on multiple defensive backs, and he might be your tight end eraser.
Question for you, because I had Adam on last night and we were discussing the linebacker situation, and one of the things I brought up is last year, as soon as we got Brownlee was up in the linebacker box a lot. He was making some checks and calls. Do you foresee any like I see like 3rd and long, pull Demario Davis off the field, let Brownlee get out there and let him be one of those guys in the middle of the field? Because I'm concerned about Demario at his age, getting his drops, getting his depth. Otherwise you're going to play pitch and catch right over him and up the seam until they show that they can stop it.
Yeah.
And then if the safety jumps, you hit him with a shoulder pivot, and then you send the guy deep right past him. But if you bring Brownlee and Sherwood in very long pass rush situations, now you got two guys who can do what you said. They can come up. He can be that big nickel. Either one of them can chase the running back out to the flat. Either one of them can run with the tight end on an 8-yard down and out where you don't want them catching it and turning upfield and walking for, the 12, 13 yards needed because Davis just can't get there. So do you see Glenn getting creative and finding ways to get Pons, Minkah, and Brownlee all on the field together?
Yeah, I think there's certain situations and certain schemes and sets that you'll see those guys all on the field together. And it might be, the times where Minkah's playing the post or the free safety spot, and you have Pons on the outside and Brownlee, on the inside, or you might have those three on the field and bring Brownlee on one of those lightning blitzes and have, Pons and Minkah, playing, kind of the zone, that post zone, that middle hook stuff in those zone dog kind of blitzes and stuff like that. So I think Brownlee, for what he lacks in coverage, I think makes up for it in his, run fit and physicality. It's a great fit for what the Jets want to do. They have made an effort over the past 12 months to really revamp the run defense.
Yeah.
And I think the additions of Stevens last year, Pons this year, the trade for Brownlee, and some of the safeties that we'll talk about, we'll get into shortly, along with what they did on the defensive line, really shows that, hey, we're going to stop the run.
Yeah.
We're going to smash.
Which does what, right? If you got 3rd and 8, and now you got Bailey and Will going and getting upfield, you built this team, stop the run, long 3rd down opportunities, speed rushers. You see that there is a plan, and they're putting that plan together, right?
Yeah.
So Cisco had another super chat here. It says, prediction on a surprise cut. Do you think it's just chalk here in the secondary, or do you think there's anyone who could be? I mean, I would say Cisco, if anyone, right? If VJ shows that he can play.
I don't think Cisco is a
and it's not because Cisco did the super chat. I'm just
I don't think Cisco would be a surprise cut. I think that you gotta, in the NFL, you gotta follow the money, man. And he has very, very little, I think less than $1 million in guarantees. So he's there. But I'll answer the question I'll answer this super chat when I talk about the safeties, because one of the safeties that I'm going to talk about is my surprise cut.
Okay.
But
that's fair.
Just to clean up
tease, ladies and gentlemen, from Dom C.
Just to clean up the cornerback room. Like I said, you have Stiggers, who's probably more of a depth piece, if nothing more. He's not
special
really
team ace, right? Special team ace and a depth piece.
He's not really a fit for what Aaron Glenn wants. He's much more of a zone cornerback. I wish he was more physical and could tackle better, because I think he would be the perfect transition from corner to safety, to that free safety spot, that center field roam and break. But I just don't think he's physical or a good enough tackler to do so. And like I said, you have Trey Brown, you have guys like Jordan Clark, who was on the practice squad last year. probably going to be there again. But he's a true slot corner. He's in that same mold of Brownlee and Pons, where he's a little bit undersized, but he plays with that dog in him. I think he's 5'10", 180 pounds. Right on par with what they have already in that slot cornerback room. So, I don't think it's a great room to say. I don't think it's a great room. I think there's pieces of it that have the ability to be great. And I think if nothing more, if we come out of this season, forget about record wins and losses and all that stuff. If you come out of there and say, hey, I know that we have A.Z. Thomas and D'Angelo Pons who are going to be, foundation pieces for our defensive back room moving forward, I think that's a score. So I like the directions going. I think the cornerback room is incomplete.
That's fair. Folks, listen to Bill M right here. Like this stream right now. Share the channel. Subscribe if you haven't already. We got one new subscriber tonight. The March to 2,500 is on. We're at 2,403, folks. We've got a lot of great things coming on. We got a lot of great guests. We're with Dom C right now of Project Prospect with Dom C. Also, Wednesday night, we will have Ryan Sampson from the New York Post here. Next Wednesday, 1 week into training camp, Rich Samini will make his Nick Shine Show debut. And we are working on some other big guests to add.
I will not be here watching next Wednesday. I think I'm shadow banned from Rich Samini. Anything?
I believe so. You've been ruthless. I'll have to make sure you don't have any access to the StreamYard that night.
Anyhow, let's talk about the safeties now, where you have Minkah Fitzpatrick, right? Suffice to say, he's probably on starting the downside of his career, right? He's now made he's gone from Miami to Pittsburgh, back to Miami, now to the Jets.
Which does that tell you how the way I view that? If you trade a player within the division, it tells me you don't fear that player going within your division, right?
I think more so it's
desperation by the buyer.
No, I think more so it's desperation by the seller. They just wanted to be rid of that contract, man. You see what Miami's doing. I mean,
yeah.
You talk about
Tua, Waddle, Hill, Fitzpatrick.
You talk about complete strip it down to the studs. That's exactly what Miami's doing. So Fitzpatrick didn't fit a role on that roster anymore. So,
okay,
can he be serviceable at 29 years old? Absolutely. He brings the leadership. You have guys like at all three levels now. Him in the backfield, in the defensive backfield, you have David Onyemata and Harrison Phillips up front, and obviously Demario Davis in the middle. You bring a real veteran presence, and it's something that this locker room probably needed more. So
100%.
I expect Fitzpatrick to be good. I don't expect Fitzpatrick to be at the level he was in Pittsburgh when he was an All-Pro and all that stuff when he was at the top of his game, one of the best safeties in the league. I mean, I think he's lost a step for sure. But he's going to be, I think for the most part, what Brian Branch was for Aaron Glenn in Detroit, where you have you see him playing the post, you see him coming down and covering tight ends, you see him, rolling off coverage. I think he's going to be that versatile chess piece that Brian Branch was for Detroit, for Aaron Glenn in Detroit. I think that's what you're going to see in Minkah Fitzpatrick. My guess is he's probably your starting slot corner, right?
Okay.
And maybe not in base. I think in base he might play, the split safety.
Yeah.
And then you bring in, whether it's you have three linebackers or your base is nickel and you start Pons or Brownlee, depending on the situation. I expect Brownlee to see the field on early downs if they go nickel on early downs. Because he fits the run as good as a linebacker. Fitzpatrick is definitely lost a step. I don't know if Fitzpatrick can man center field like he used to. I don't think he's also probably meant to play up in the box, a la Jamal Adams, that type of safety. I think he's going to be a very critical movable chess piece for the Jets and play some split. You'll see him playing single high sometimes in some sets. I think he's going to play a lot of nickel cornerback. I think you're going to be able to move him around, and it just gives the defense a lot of options and a whole different flavor on what you have. Opposite him, right, is the big question mark. I think it's going to be Dane Belton. And again, we talked about the Jets over the past 12 months have made a real big effort to getting more physical, punch you in the mouth, kind of you're not going to run against us. I think Dane Belton brings that to the defense. Now, is he, he's a very, very low end starter, probably better off as a third safety. But I think in base situations, you'll probably see him and Minka as your split safeties. And we talk about Malachi Moore. If they really, really felt that Malachi Moore was going to be a solution or an answer for them playing that Brian Branch role, which he did last year, I don't think they would have went out and made the effort and signed Minka to a 3-year contract. So that tells me that Moore is probably more of a Malachi Moore is going to be a depth piece or a third safety in certain situations, more so than a starter. But again, I could be wrong on that.
Yeah.
I think
something I want to add real quick with Minka before you move on. I think fans need to lower the expectation on Minka with getting turnovers because he only has 2 interceptions in his last 42 games. He had 1 last year in 14 games. He had 1 the year before in 17. He had 0 the year before in 10, and he didn't pick one off in the end of the last game of 22. So 2 interceptions in his last 42 games. Expectations have to come down with him in terms of turn. Now, he can bring a lot of other things to the field in terms of experience, run support, playing downhill, like you said. Yep. But I would be shocked. He would turn back the hands of time if he's getting 5 or leading the league with 6, like he did a couple years previously. Yeah. But I think that we got to be realistic with him. He's not the interception machine that he once was earlier in his career.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I think he's going to be like I said, he's probably, you talked about a tight end eraser. He's probably going to be that guy or asked to be that guy. You talk about Malachi Moore.
That's something we need. We've been abused by tight end, quick little outs to Kincaid and Knox where they turn it upfield. And, it's been our Achilles heel amongst Aaron Rodgers' Achilles heel. There's been many that we've tried to stop tight ends and they just pick us apart with little 4-yard hitches and then they turn it up, or they do a little 4-yard out and they just abuse us.
No, I agree. This day and age, the slot cornerback position is being kind of transitioned, right? You see guys like Nick Manwari, Brian Branch. These guys were elite safeties in college that are coming now and playing the nickel. I'm not saying Minka's at their level because those are 2 of the better ones in the league. And Minka's, long in the tooth, but I think that's the kind of role that the Jets are going to utilize Minka in. And Malachi Moore, there was flashes that made you really excited, but there was a lot of plays where he just looked like a 4th-round rookie, and that's exactly what he is. Yeah.
He had a lot of tackles, but he had volume because there was nobody else. Cisco was out, so many plays downfield, not stopping the run, players getting to the 3rd level, and he just was there to clean it up. Yep. He wasn't making those impactful tackles. He wasn't flying up from the safety position and making highlight reels.
Yep. You talked about Cisco. Cisco's another anomaly. Like I said, if I had to guess by name and experience, you would think he would make the roster. If he got cut, if Malachi Moore really showed that he's taking the next step, and even more so, one of the guys I'm going to talk about after Cisco, who I really, really like in our defense backfield. If he takes a step up, I think there's a path that Cisco's not on the roster past the that he's one of the cuts.
It's fair.
Right now, he's probably the closest thing to the best bet if you need somebody to play true deep middle center field in cover 1, just because of the experience, just because of his experience. I don't think Malachi Moore is fluid enough and can run enough to get there. Like, he doesn't make up enough ground. His hips are tight. He plays better coming downhill as opposed to kind of seeing what's happening, getting to the ball, reacting. I think Cisco has the most experience doing that. He didn't play well in the time that he was with the Jets last year. I thought he was probably a little subpar. He was definitely, and he was coming off of a shitty season the year before where he was also hurt in Jacksonville. 2 years prior to that, though, he had a great, he had a great year.
5 or 6 picks, right?
Yes. So, and he's a hometown kid. He's a Jet fan. You root for him. You want to like him. So there's opportunity for him. The guy that I don't think people remember or talk about enough, the guy who I think, and he's my sneak.
Forgive me, he had 4
picks. Yeah,
he had 4 and 23, 3 and 22.
Yeah, my sneaky pick to make noise on this defense, make the 53, and maybe take the spot of Cisco or the spot of Malachi Moore, who are my 2 surprise. Malachi Moore is my surprise cut. Is Dean Clark. Dean Clark was, he was a priority free, undrafted free agent last year.
Yeah.
He did
Louisville.
No, Fresno. I'm sorry, Fresno. Yes. Bigger guy, 6'1", 206. He can run. He runs really good. He supports. He can play downhill. He can fit the run from depth really well. But he's just one of those versatile chess pieces that I just don't think have really had the chance to really shine. He was excellent in college. The Jets were very close to drafting him. They wanted to draft him, but they talked to him and got him to sign right away. Like he was a 30 visit, and they did extensive work on him the year he came out. I think he can make the roster. I like him to be right now. If I had to peg somebody for long term for a role that you don't expect him, I wouldn't be shocked if he took over that free safety role and eventually transition once Minka's done, because Minka's on a 3-year deal, which is really a 2-year deal. He's got 2 years of guaranteed money, and by that time he'll be 31. So I think Dean Clark could kind of take that role of what you want in that free safety / slot corner spot, or post safety, I should say, free safety, post safety, slot spot. Dean Clark is a really, really good player. He's like I said, physical. He can move. I loved him in college. I think I'm hoping he gets a chance. I would love to see him on the 53, even as a depth piece right now.
Yeah.
Over a guy like Andre Cisco.
Yeah. If we cut Cisco, it would be 1.25 in dead money with 980,000 in cap savings. So
there you go.
There's really, in the NFL, those are pennies. So they did re-sign him, for those in the chat saying, but they just re-signed him. But you could see it's very low risk, very low impact if they do move on from him. So
correct.
They're going to hope that one of these young guys take it, because Cisco, we've probably seen the best from Cisco, and it wasn't here with us.
No, it wasn't here with us, and it wasn't his last year in Jacksonville either. So he's got something to prove, but he's a year into the system, into knowing Aaron Glenn, into knowing the defense and the expectations. So, I think right now you got to give the edge to him, but man, I'm really hoping that he gets pushed hard by Moore and Clark this year in camp.
That's fair.
You also got Jarius Monroe, who is again, you talk about versatility. Jarius Monroe played for Louisiana, I believe. No, Tulane.
Really?
Tulane, yes, Tulane.
I'm all for two.
I knew it was in Louisiana. Again, another priority undrafted free agent, but in 24, who has been with the Jets for 2 years, practice squad, bring him up, practice squad. They waived him. They brought him back on the practice squad. They signed him from the practice squad. So he's a guy who's played corner. He's played nickel. He's played safety. He can play special teams. He's probably a longer shot, I would guess, right now for the roster. Because I think you can assure that Minkah Fitzpatrick and Dane Belton are guarantees for the roster, right? I think they're locks. I think that my other 2 guys would be Cisco and Dean Clark right now, with Malachi Moore cutting short, but maybe it's Moore over Cisco, whatever, pick your pleasure. Let's see what happens in camp. But I think I think two of those three between Clark, Moore, and Cisco stay. I would lean, and my surprise pick for the 53 is Dean Clark makes the roster.
Okay.
Yeah. You have VJ Payne, who we haven't talked about, right?
Yeah.
7th round draft pick, no guarantees, no expectations, but man, athletic as could be, 6'3", 212 pounds, a different body
Big
type,
hitter.
a different body type from what the Jets have in the defensive backfield right now. You're a much more physical type of safety. I mean, downhill, you talked about a big hitter. He can lay the wood. Definitely a negative in coverage. He just doesn't cover well. He's a little too slight of frame to take the Jamie Sherwood route and kind of pack up some weight and make him a linebacker. But the goal, I think, you want Payne to really start his NFL career as a special teamer, as a 7th round draft pick should do.
That's exactly what I said yesterday. I had a tweet yesterday with realistic projections for these rookies. And with Payne, I said, he could make some big hits in special teams and become a fan favorite very quickly.
Yep.
But if he has to play, you're going to see how raw he is as a safety in the NFL. And if he can carve out a nice little niche for himself on an elite special teams group and help contribute there, you can coach him and develop him. I think something that the Jets have missed out. God bless you. I think something that the Jets have missed out on is drafting guys, developing them, because they've had such a piss poor roster. They've had to throw guys in before they're ready, and then they just get ruined. They don't have that time in the meeting room. They don't have that time with the veterans. They don't have the time with the position coaches. And you're throwing guys in like, oh, this guy can't play in the league. He's done. No, there used to be a day where you build a team and you draft guys in the 5th, 6th, 7th round. You sit them, you coach them up, you develop them. In year 2 or 3, they go from special teamer. Look at Sherwood, right? Yeah. Sherwood's gone from special teamer to a guy who's a starter. That's how it should be.
Earned a big time second contract with the Jets. So
yeah, he hasn't been the greatest, and I think he'll be much better with DeMario calling the defense and him just being the run and tackle guy than the thinker. Mm-hmm. But I want to see that from the rest of the defense. I want to see guys like let's take Tyler Barron, for example, up front. A guy who now is 4th or 5th at defensive end that they drafted. Maybe with more bodies in front of him, he can learn. And maybe with more veterans, he can develop. And maybe late in year 2 or year 3 can be somebody. We have the guys at safety with that. We got Payne. We got Moore. Guys who are mid to late round draft picks. There has to be development with the New York Jets with players. There has to be a long-term vision to say, you're a special teamer now, you're a backup in year 2, you could be fighting for a starting spot in year 3 or 4, but we're not afraid to put you on the fucking field.
Yeah, and it happens all over. It happens up and down every year in the NFL. Like, why can't the Jets have one of these 6th or 7th round or undrafted guys come out and cut their teeth and earn a spot, become a good player? I really think, like I said, I think you can see that in the guy. Would it surprise me if a Dean Clark 3 years from now turned into a good starter? No. Would it surprise me if a Malachi Moore 3 years from now turned into a solid regular starter in the NFL? No. I think it's a little less likely than some other guys on the roster. But why can't we get a 4th round stud? Why can't VJ Payne be the next 7th round draft pick that comes in and makes a name for himself in the NFL?
Oh, I like it. Folks, like you said, you're watching our secondary preview. I got Dom C of X Factor here with us. Also, hit the like button. We only got 38 likes right now. We got 50 of you here watching. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. For this Sunday night, folks, with football being back, we got a big one. We have a full-size Garrett Wilson autographed helmet being raffled off this Sunday night. You know the deal. $5 super chats and up. Gifted memberships get you on that raffle wheel. Make sure to get your entries in. This is going to be a good one to give away. Yeah. So thank you to everyone.
I'm sorry. I didn't
Go ahead.
To Cisco super chat, I think my surprise cut right now is Malachi Moore. And it's more so
really?
Yeah. I think, and when you just look at the rest of the safeties, right?
Fair.
When you look at the rest of the safeties, you bring in Minka, Dane Belton, those two are going to be there. and you're gonna. I like Dean. I think what Dean Clark could do, and why I have him making the roster, is what the Jets really, really need, and that's that ability to somebody to roam center field and make plays on the ball. I think that's probably much more up Dean Clark's alley than it is Malachi Moore. Malachi Moore's got to be he's got to be kind of that in the box slot maven. He's a little too small. He doesn't have enough wiggle. He doesn't have the greatest straightaway speed. Like to me, he's a nice player, but nice players turn into just guys. I don't know if he has that. I don't know if he has that specialness in him. So he's my surprise cut. Now I hope to be proven wrong.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
All right. Let me ask you a question.
Shoot.
Thank you, by the way, for breaking down the secondary. I love it.
No problem.
This is the question everyone's asking right now. Do they go into camp, or did they go into the season with the quarterback room as is, or do you see Muji making a move? Last year, defensive tackle was clearly our weakness.
Yeah.
Jamal Adams, breaking news, everyone, announces that he's heading to the Vikings. So we avoid that nonsense. Jamal Adams announces he's heading to Minnesota. So
there's your Alex Anzalone replacement right there. Blitzing linebacker, kind of stays home, plays the curl flats. He'll fit in there. I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, but at least he's not coming here.
Repeat your question.
Last year, right?
Next year,
defensive tackle looked weak.
Yes,
they get Briggs, they get Phillips right before the season started. I've been asked this question by many, and I'm not taking a cop out with this answer, Dom. Mm-hmm. But with the quarterback depth, it sounds like a cop out, but it's not. And I think you know me well enough to know where I'm coming from with this. I trust in Muji because last year he saw weakness at defensive tackle and he went and got 2.
Yep.
And now with the quarterback room, if he thinks it's weak, he'll make a move. And I trust in Muji. And if he makes the move, it's needed. And if he doesn't, I'm going to give him that leeway of saying that he knows something that we don't.
Yeah. I think that's a really, really good point. Something I probably would agree with, that it's somewhere in this defensive back room, probably at the corner room, in the corner, just say, God forbid. And I know you don't want to ever talk about the I word, because we were relatively healthy last year. No major injuries, but you get an injury early in camp, you're going to really have to rely on either young unproven guys in like AZ Thomas or Pons on the outside, or Brownlee, who's still a young player himself. Or one of these guys, they're not really coming up to snuff. Mm-hmm. I think that's the area where you could probably see Muji go and make a deal. Yeah, I think somewhere in this defensive backfield. Say they cut ties with Cisco early, and they're not happy with any of the other Moore or Clark or anything like that. I could see them coming in and bringing a safety as well. Maybe they go, scour the wire for guys that are going to get cut and bring in that another veteran presence. But yeah, I could see cornerback in this scheme, how important it is. I could see that being the biggest area of concern, if you will, going into camp. So yeah, I think you could definitely see a trade possibly for a cornerback if things don't get off swimmingly.
That's fair. Give me your thoughts on Frank Reich and his game. How much longer do I have you for? A few minutes?
I got about 15 minutes.
Okay. What are you looking for with Frank Reich? What do you think his scheme is going to... Listen, I know he's had questions. I know he hasn't had the greatest offensive ranking with points and yards with where he's been when he's been in charge. Uh-huh. But I think this is a really good situation for him. Am I being a little bit of a homer? It's probably going to sound that way. It's what I do. Everyone suck it up and deal with it. I don't need you to type it. I self-assess. I know what the hell I am. But you look at the offensive line. You look at the time that Justin Fields was given to throw last year and didn't. Now you look at, you added weapons. You got Garrett back healthy. You got Mason Taylor, who looked promising with 44 catches and missed several games with the worst quarterback play in the league. And now you add Sadiq. And now you add Cooper. And now you got Braylon Allen coming back. And A.D. Mitchell with the quarterback who excels at throwing the ball downfield quite often. And A.D. Mitchell who excels at getting downfield quite often. You mix in guys like Tim Patrick, a veteran, Isaiah Williams, the speed of Arian Smith. I think there's a lot to play with here. Now, it's not a high bar to clear, but this could be the most fun we've had watching a Jets offense since the Fitzpatrick, Marshall, Decker, Quincy Enunwa, Chris Ivory years in 2015. So I think Reich can get really creative with this and look for the mismatches and bring in the 3 tight end set and then shift Taylor and Sadiq out wide with Breece Hall out wide and Braylon Allen in the backfield. And you can put the pressure on the defense time and time again to make them burn timeouts. How many times have we been on the field and been unprepared for what the offense throws at us and we got to waste the timeout 5 minutes into a game? We should be able to do that with these positions, with the packages that we're going to throw out on the field. Hashtag Diana Rossini quotes. Give me your thoughts on what you expect from Reich, because we live in a day and era where the ingenuity and the creative offensive mind excels.
Yeah.
Can Frank Reich do that at this age?
So, listen, I got a lot to say about this topic, but shameless plug. I did write a really big article posted on Jets X Factor where you can find all my stuff, draft previews, all my articles that I wrote on how I think that Frank Reich is the pivotal, like, pink elephant in the room for how this season is dictated. I put the link there if you want to.
It's already in the chat.
Yeah. So
I'm going to pin it right now. Folks, real quick. It's not the last call for this, but the GoFundMe for Stack is still there. Anyone who contributes tonight, shout out to Derek. He got another entry on the wheel. If you contribute to Stack and helping him rebuild after the devastation with the missile attack overseas and him losing everything, please do so. I will post that again momentarily, but we're going to pin Dom C's link right now. Go check that out. Bookmark that for later.
Just because we're talking about the topic, and I just wrote something not too long ago on this same, on exactly what we're talking about. But yeah, I'm very concerned about Frank Reich. I am not. Sure. Listen, the year he got fired in Indianapolis, his offense was like 30th ranked. Carolina, he was like 27th ranked before he got fired. He went to Stanford, and they were like 120th out of 139 ranked in their offenses. So it has not been good of late. I know we all, dip back to the Philly times when it was good. But it has not been good. And the one thing that my biggest fear and why I think it's the biggest question to how this Jet season is going to go is, are we kind of repeating history? Are we doing the same exact thing over and over again in what we did just a couple years ago in hiring Nate Hackett? We had a young, up-and-coming, very creative, intuitive, offensive mind rising rookie guy in LaFleur who, obviously fell on the sword, and they thought the fix was Nate Hackett. Yes, he had a relationship with Aaron Rodgers, but his offensive scheme hadn't worked in a while. It was very outdated, very set in his ways. You know what I mean? Frank Reich is, the question is his offense now also outdated? Because he's another guy who's very set in his ways. No motion, doesn't motion guys all around. I think his last two stops in the NFL, he was 30th out of 32 offensive coordinator, in our team in motion percentage. So what you see is what you're going to get. I think that's an easy way to key off or key on an offense if you're a defensive player. So that concerns me. He's also, 87%, in the 80 percentile in running 11 personnel. Right, which is fine, except think about it, Nick. The good offensive minds these days, right? Who's the best offensive line? Sean McVay, is he the best?
Sean McVay,
arguably?
Shanahan, Andy
Yeah.
Reid.
What is McVay? What is and Shanahan for sure? What do they like to do? Right?
Multiple tight end sets, run the ball, play action up the seam.
They have the multiple tight ends. They want to run the ball, very physical. Which I like that. I got this stupid mosquito in here. It's driving me crazy. Excuse me. They like to yin when when you think they're going to yang, right? So they put these heavy sets and they pass out of them. After running the ball down your throat for a little bit, like they make you think like that. Every formation is created through motion. You never know how they're going to line up and where they're going to end up when the ball is snapped. That's the stuff that Frank Reich doesn't do very well, right?
Okay.
I don't think his offense is set to create a lot of explosive. He's not going to create a lot of explosive plays. You're going to need really the athleticism of skill guys, which they are athletic. I will say this. I think the Jets improved as a whole, in terms of their speed and athleticism in the skill positions this offseason. And again, for as much as I love AC Thomas, 2 years ago, I had a wide receiver 4 first round grade, number 22 overall in my class, A.D. Mitchell. I think A.D. Mitchell is really good. The speed, the way he can create separation. I think he was top 10 in the league in doing it last year. He didn't. He had some dropsy issues last year, and I think a lot of that is pressure, and a lot of that is just he hasn't seen the field a lot. He's also hasn't had any quarterbacks throwing them the ball. Right? Geno is going to be the most. The best quarterback that he's ever, received a throw from, Anthony Richardson and Justin Fields and limited time with Daniel Jones. He didn't see the field a lot before he was dealt, blah, blah, blah. He just hasn't had really, really good quarterback play. So I'm curious to see how that happens, how that works out. I think the skill positions are very good and very fast, but they're going to be in an offense that's run by Frank Reich. And to me, I think that's the biggest question is, can he consistently find, or create solutions on the fly and adjust, and it's not Martini Nate saying, no, we're going to run my offense. And, we're down to 3rd and 11s and we're running, halfback gut up the middle just to get an extra couple yards of punt, or we're running these stupid, vanilla, routes, route schemes and route sets of, curls and flats and stuff like that. I don't want to see that anymore.
No, and we have the speed at every position to get to every quadrant of the field, right? When they bring up the quarterback stats of your attempts, completions, yards in certain zones.
Yep.
There's been times where we don't even get down the field. The ball's going downfield this year. Everybody, the tight ends, the running backs, Garrett, everyone, Mitchell, Cooper, everybody can get downfield. So you use everyone's skill set to open up other people's skill sets. You want to use A.D. Mitchell deep? Okay. You want to sneak a Garrett Wilson on a 15-yard in underneath that? Great. Safety steps up, you go over the top. Safety drops, you throw the 15-yard in to Garrett. You use this speed to attack what the defense does, right? You read and react. You're a quarterback. You see the shoulder turn, you throw the stop route. You see him squaring up, you throw the go route. You read and react. And last year, there was nothing. There was no reading. There was no reacting. There was no response. There was no throwing. It was a quarterback shit scared in the pocket and just standing there like this. There was video breakdown film. Joe Blewett did it. Nania did it. You spoke about it. Guys were open.
Yep.
Tanner's scheme was not as bad as people were saying. Guys were open time and time and time again. The Jets were 4th in the NFL with Michael Nania had this tweet. I'll never forget it. The Jets were 4th in the NFL with wide receiver separation against man coverage. But you wouldn't know that because the quarterback never threw the fucking ball.
Yeah. Yep. It's, it's to me the riskiest or the biggest concern going into camp is what are we going to get from Frank Reich? Because I think Gino can still play. I don't know if we're getting like, early Seattle Seahawks Gino, when he was at his peak. I think he's probably going to be less than that. But I still think he can play. I think last year he took a lot of undue and unnecessary heat for what was a really, really bad team and a bad offensive line, a bad offense, period. So I think behind our line, he'll be in a better position to make plays. I think he's got the skill position to make plays. It's skill position players that can help him make plays. It's now, are we going to have the scheme? Are we going to be in the 21st century, or are we going to repeat, like pound ourselves on the head and try to jam square pegs into round holes and be at 3rd and 11 real quick again? That's the question. And that's going to be, solely on the shoulders of Frank Reich.
Yeah.
Frank Reich, listen, I also think, and I'm sorry, and then I'll shut up because I'll get out of here. But, I think our offense is going to need to score points because I think our defense is going to let up a lot of points. I don't think it's
going to be high risk, high reward, right? Like it's going to be times where they send blitzes, we get beat because we don't have those dogs to play that on an island coverage.
I agree.
And if you hope that, even though it's not Aaron Glenn's ideology, Dom, you hope that Bailey and Will with Briggs and others can get there with 4, and he doesn't have to send it as often, right? You're hoping that the run defense is good enough that you can stop everybody up front in the run, and now you got Bailey, and now you got Will, and now you can keep an extra guy back because you don't have to send it because these guys can get home on their own. Because you're taking a guy number 2 overall, you're taking a guy number 15 overall, and they're there for speed rushers. You want to stop the run so you can allow them to do it. And now you can protect the guys on the back end because you can get home. So it all comes down to stopping the run. Everything that I think Aaron Glenn wants to do. You don't want this defense with Will and Bailey to be 3rd and 4. You want 3rd and 7 and longer where you got to get home. And that's where we can really be good. You know who's really good? Knobcraft. Knobcraft gifted 5 channel memberships, ladies and gentlemen. Knob, his 5 went to Ricky New York Live, Max's New York Jets, Stephen Craig, Porkstar, and Jim Jets. Thank you, Knob. You're the man. Appreciate you, buddy.
Yep. Yeah, to that point, Nick, you're right. Like, in an ideal situation, you want to be a force, a nasty, aggressive force on early downs so that you can unleash those 2 guys in particular on the edge and so on and so forth. I think fitting the run and playing the run, good run defense is an attitude. The Jets didn't have the attitude. They didn't have the attitude. Although the players were nice, I think they were under Saleh, they were a little soft on defense. I'm not talking about defense being bad. I'm just talking about the attitude and the type of players. You don't have you bringing in guys that are much more, like I said, I've said it a couple times now, smack in the mouth kind of players, right? Especially like with Demario Davis now, Onyemata, Kingsley and Agbare, who's really, really physical and stuff like that. Osai, I'm hit or miss, to be honest with you. I haven't really watched a ton of recent Joseph Osai, so I don't know what he's going to really bring to the table. T'Vondre Sweat, you got guys that are now can do that, right? So my fear is, like you said, all right, we do a good job stopping the run, and teams are forced to pass, and our there's going to be plenty of games where our pass rush doesn't have it, right? And I don't know how well our defensive backs can hold up on that. Like, I think Aaron Glenn's this is gonna be a good test for him because he's gonna have to get creative. He's got the personnel that he can get a little creative. We're gonna see how creative he can be because left on an island, these 5 defensive backs, 4 or 5 defensive backs that are gonna be on the field for the most part are going to be overmatched. Like I said, I think it's the weakest position on the team. I think it's the area where, there's great pieces. I can't wait to see D'Angelo Pons play as a Jet. I can't wait to see it. I love Azaria Thomas. Can't wait to see a full season of him healthy. So my hope is up, but right now the sum of all the parts isn't really that good. So if we're not getting home and we're not being creative to confuse offenses, Frank Reich's offense is going to have to score a lot of points to make up for that, and that's scary proposition for me.
I think we're going to have that ability, though. I think when you look at, we're going to have breakaway speed. We're going to have the ball getting there on time downfield. And, I've been screaming for years. You know this. I want to see Garrett Wilson, like in the Chicago game, get the ball in front of the safety and then, make the safety fall and take it the distance. I don't want to see Garrett Wilson getting the ball within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. It's not his strength. You got Cooper for that. You got, Braylon Allen for that. You got your tight ends for that. I want to see Garrett getting the ball downfield where he can change the fucking game. He did it in Dallas when they hit him on a quick slant. He took it the distance. The Chicago game, Mike White hit him with one. That's where I want Garrett, where if that safety jumps, Garrett full speed, on time, in rhythm, can go. We haven't seen that. It's been fades to the sideline, quick passes at the line of scrimmage to just get the ball in his hands. It hasn't been using Garrett Wilson at Garrett Wilson's best. And not that I think Geno Smith is a top 12 quarterback in the league, but he will throw the ball and he will get it there on time. So I think that we could see some exciting things. We could see some points. And I think that with that, their vision is this: build an explosive playmaking offense, have the offensive line in place, run the ball, take shots, get it downfield to guys who are open because they're committing to stop the run. Then on the defensive side of the ball, stop the run, allow Bailey, McDonald to just use their speed, blitz up the middle, consume the center and the guards, and have Bailey and Will one-on-one time and time again. And if Bailey and Will can get home, and if they can create pressure, and now you got guys like Pons, Fitzpatrick, Belton, Wright, who know how to make plays on the ball. If you're getting speed rushers home, you're collapsing the pocket, the ball's going to come out. It could be a domino effect of good things happening for a team and an organization that has a domino effect of bad things happening time and time again. Yep. So, Dom, it is always great to talk to you time and time again, my friend. And we'll do it more. Are you in for Nashville?
No.
I'm going to get you to go to Nashville.
No,
you know that, right?
I'm not going to Nashville.
Positive peer pressure, my friend. What if I get you a ticket?
No. I timing is just no good for me. I'll just be that's what, September
13th.
Yeah, it's not gonna work.
I know.
I get too much stuff going on with the kids to make multiple trips.
Where are you going?
Right now, tentatively, well, Jen and I are going away in November. My wife, and then
I figured that
we might be taking the kids to the Arizona game in December.
Really?
Yeah, maybe.
If I can get off work on Monday, that's a tough week, the week of Christmas.
Yeah.
My buddy who's retiring from New York City detective in September, actually August 28th, he just bought a house that's being built outside of Arizona. And he's like, you guys got to come. He's like, when the Jets play, you come here, you got a place to stay. I was like, December 22nd or 21st, the Jets are there. He goes, do it. And I'm going to look in. If I can get off work to fly home, even if I have to get to the airport at 10:58 at night in Arizona on Sunday and do the red eye and then go to work on Monday, I'll do it. But to see his place it's remarkable. It's a beautiful, beautiful place, and he deserves it. He was a Marine, and he's been in New York City cop and now detective for many years. And I would love to get out there for the Jet game to see him. So that really just happened this afternoon. So we will be in touch with that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. We're not definite, but that's in December, right around Christmas, and then and then starts January. I'm traveling to 2 weeks for 1 week in Mobile and then 1 week in Dallas for the Shrine Bowl right after. So I'm doing back-to-backs this year.
Nice.
So I got a lot of traveling. So I'm not going to Nashville.
Okay. All right. Will I see you in Houston for the playoff game?
Yeah. I'll see you in MetLife for the playoff game. How's that?
Oh, you're going bigger than me. I like it. I'm talking about we're in Houston for the 7-2 matchup. And you're like, no.
Yeah, let's see what Frank Reich's offense looks like in camp before we make any playoff plans.
All right, my friend. Dom, always a pleasure. Thank you for your time. We'll talk soon, buddy.
I love you.
Love you too, pal. Folks, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're not even at 50 likes yet. What's going on here in the chat tonight? What are we doing? We're 41. Everyone hit the like button right now. If you don't like me, you like Dom C. Hit the like button for him. Next up, batting leadoff tonight. It's not Charles Gorman. We got Derek. What up, bro?
Nick, what's up, brother?
How are you, man?
I'm doing good, man. Great show tonight.
Thank you,
it's
sir.
awesome.
Thank you, Eli, for the jewels.
I loved all the secondary talk. Yeah, I'm very hype. I don't know. I usually get this excited. I get pretty excited. I love all of Muji's like off-season moves. In terms of the secondary, I think if AZ Thomas can stay healthy, he might end up working his way up to number 1 cornerback on the depth chart. And I'm more intrigued to see. I think Pons has the ability to maybe earn himself a spot on the outside corner this year. It remains to be seen. A lot of people like with his size, you think
dependent,
nickel.
right? I think it's matchup dependent. And there might be weeks where Thomas is your one. There might be weeks Stevens is. There might be weeks where it's zone and they just can't do that one-on-one, and they gotta shade over, and they gotta double, and they gotta bracket, and they gotta cover underneath. And there might be a week where Pons is out there because it's somebody quicker and smaller, like when we played Denver, like a Waddle. I think Pons would be great on Waddle. So
good point.
It's going to go from week to week, right?
For
Kind of
sure.
like our offense is going to go week to week with who's getting the targets, who's leading us in receptions. It could be matchup dependent, and I think the cornerback room is going to be matchup dependent. I don't think it's chalk where you're 1A, you're on 1A week after week after week. We're not there yet with them. I hope somebody emerges like that. I really do, but I can't put any faith in that. I'm an optimist, but I'm also a realist, and I can't see that. Not now.
Yeah, too soon. Oh, luckily we get team reports tomorrow, and then Wednesday might be practice in shorts or what have you. But I think Jake was saying on his show in the evening today that Saturday the pads will be coming on. So that's what I'm most intrigued to see. So I want to see Pons and AZ, Stevens, Brownlee versus AD Mitchell, and Garrett, and those one-on matches. Because if you can handle one-on-one against Garrett Wilson, who I think is a top 5 route runner in the entire National Football League, I don't even think I'm being biased. I think if we can see that,
his quickness, his ability to cut and move and stop on a dime and get open. Now, him and Sauce had great battles. Is Garrett just blowing everyone away? Is everything being thrown to Garrett, an automatic catch and a touchdown? Or are guys making plays? Can Garrett make the secondary better? Can AD Mitchell, can Cooper, can the tight ends exploit them enough? And here's the thing. They always say that the defense is ahead of the offense. If the offense is starting to cook early, that's a big red flag for me.
I think that's very fair.
Because timing, precision takes a while to build, especially with a new quarterback and new weapons and multiple rookies. That's something to keep an eye on. Is the offense putting up highlights time and time again, or is the defense making plays?
I love that a lot. Yeah, I'm intrigued to see. And can Gino throw these guys open? Which I think that he can. Historically, he's got like a 64.35 completion percentage, and I think that's a fairly good number. So I'm very intrigued to see how well the chemistry builds. And I think for the first time, in a long time, knock on wood, I'm just praying that once training camp does inevitably roll around, that we don't see any of these major injuries that Jets fans have become so accustomed to over the years. Like, can we get through training camp? Can we get to week 1 without any major injuries? Because while I like our depth in a lot of positions, I'm not really sure. Like if we have another offensive lineman go down like an AVT, or like anything like that. There was Ron L called into Jake's show earlier today, and I thought he made a really good point. Last year, especially in terms of the AFC quarterbacks, Joe Burrow went down, Pat Mahomes went down, Purdy went down, Jaden Daniels went down, Lamar Jackson went down, Daniel Jones went down. Every NFL team is like a quarterback injury away from. So it takes a lot of luck in being healthy enough to make like a good regular season run and a postseason run.
Yeah.
But I think I loved you and Dom C's point about Frank Reich. Like I'm with you, Nick. Like I really have a lot of faith in Frank Reich. I think 6 of his 8 years as an offensive coordinator, it's been a top 10 to 12 offense in terms of yards per game.
But those other 6 have been bottom 5.
Yeah, I don't know if I really want to count his 10 years as head coach with the Panthers or the Colts. Like, I guess you got to throw him in there, especially if he was making the play calls. But that Panthers roster was kind of far off until they got Tate McMillan and Bryce Young. But I think that Reich has a lot of weapons. And And I think that when you just look at the offensive weapons on this team, I don't think it's outlandish to think that Coach Wright could have us as a top 15 offense this year. And you have Omar Cooper, Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall. I'm more intrigued to see how we use our running backs out of the backfield. I want to see if Braylon, with all the weight he's put on, can he catch a pass and get some yards after the catch in the backfield. Because I'm a big fan of Isaiah Davis too. I followed him in college pretty heavily. I thought he was electric. I'd like to see.
I saw Samini comment on him. Don't automatically write Braylon Allen as being the number 2. They really like Isaiah, and I think he shined, pun intended, in his role last year when he got the opportunities. I mentioned the Cincinnati game because that 50-yard run was coming right down at me and Nikki. So, awesome. If you get a better line, you get a quarterback to throw the ball downfield, and Justin Fields played well in that game. Coincidence that our running backs played well in that game? No, not at all. So, it could open to some things up, longer drives, more plays, more ball distribution, hashtag Diana Rossini quotes, and we can have a lot of fun with this offense, man. And I just want to add something. You said earlier about Geno's career completion, but in Seattle, it was 68.5, and last year was 67.4. So his last 4 years, his last 5 years, the 4 years in Seattle, 68.4, 69.8, 64.7 in 23, 70.4 in 24, and 67.4 with the Raiders last year in 25. So if we're getting 67, 68 or higher with the weapons that we have, we're going to have some points. We're going to have a lot of fun on offense this year. Be above 66.5, and you're really going to be cooking here, and have it be meaningful. Have it be 67 in the first 3 quarters of the game, because that means you're probably in the game in the fourth quarter, right?
Right.
If you're completing 73% of your passes on third downs, you're probably scoring points. You're getting the ball down the field. You're converting. So
even if it's just 3, because I think last year 73 NFL games ended in 1 possession or less, like 8 points or fewer. So and if Geno can come around,
kicker matters though, right? That's where a kicker can come in to decide it. So we got to get that one too.
I got a lot of faith in Banjo. And I like Jason Sanders. What's that game he played in MetLife? He drilled 7 field goals against us. I don't think turf will be an issue for him there. Do we got to see it? Yes, but
he kicked well up here, and he's been up here late in the year a lot too. So there's been some late season games with Miami up here. We've been going down there early. They've been coming up here late. So it could be a hidden gem. That's the last box that we need to check on Banjo. Get a kicker, build a kicker, fix a kicker, whatever it is. Get a reliable kicker, and you're going to the Hall of Fame as the greatest special teams coordinator of all time. Derek, I appreciate you, man.
Thanks
for
much,
the call, bro.
Yes. Let's go.
Yes,
Have
sir.
a good one, guys. Thank you
too,
so
pal.
much.
Wait, one last question. He just Charlesed me. You're not going to Charles me, are you, Kev?
I'll try my best not to Gorman you.
He did it. I'm kidding.
This guy here.
How are you, bro?
Checking out Spider-Man this Friday, though, so I am going to be gorming it a little bit.
Nice. Charles did ask the maintenance guy to come hang up the picture on the wall that I got him.
Yeah.
However, this one here.
Yeah.
However, the maintenance guy did not get to it yet today. Probably, it's a building full of senior citizens, and there's probably a lot of requests on a Monday morning after the weekend. So he says it's on his to-do list. So we should have a photo soon with that.
Hopefully we can get that handled, man. You guys, touched upon, pause, something that I was really interested in, to discuss. It's Garrett Wilson and Frank Wright. I think that since Garrett's been in the league, he's been one of those receivers that's been kind of quarterback proof. No matter who you got out there throwing the ball, he's been able to get his, at least for the most part. What's your expectations for him this year with the guy who we consider to be a capable quarterback and a guy who is a veteran play caller?
Give me the name again. Garrett?
Yes, sir.
All right. Garrett. I think you're going to see Garrett's highest yards per catch that he's had. I think you're going to see Garrett with explosive plays. I think you're going to see Garrett with the most 100-yard games that he's had in his career. I think you're going to see games where he might have a 65-yard catch and a 35-yard catch, and it might be halftime, and he's got 4 catches for 100 yards because we're running the rock. The offensive line is good. You're getting play action. Your tight ends are eating up the safeties, and Garrett's getting the Jamar Chase one-on-one up the sideline. He's getting that 20-yard in that, Mitchell runs the safety off. Garrett's 15, 20 yards in, takes it and slants upfield in front of the safety and has an explosive play. We haven't had explosive plays. We've had catch, fall down. The ball has been late. The ball has been behind guys. The ball's been overthrown. Geno can spin it. Geno can absolutely 100% spin the ball and get it there on time. And that's where Frank Reich comes in with having to build this offense. And I don't know, man. I get accused of being a homer. I get accused of a lot of things with my takes, but I can't look at this offensive line, this speed, and the percentages that Geno's been completing the ball at and see bad things happening week after week after week. Now, do I think we're going to be in the upper echelon of the AFC? No, but I think it could be the best football we've watched since 2015. And it's not a high bar to clear. I keep saying that. However, could be really, really fun for this fan base to get that. And then you build upon that, right? We hate watch the Colts. We hate watch the Cowboys and the Packers. And then we end up the 15th or 16th pick, and our pick is the worst of the 3 first rounders next year. This fan base will be out of their fucking minds going into 27 because we're close and we're adding more premium talent with $150 million to spend.
Look, I agree with you. I don't think that we're going to see, the greatest show on turf next year, but I don't think that, God forbid, and I hope this doesn't happen, I don't think we'll get a repeat that if Garrett goes down and misses significant time, he would still finish the year with the most receptions on the team. I think that
no, he'll be passed in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see Sadiq, man. Because I know that, for the most part, we've seen guys who kind of, just come out the box and they're putting up numbers like Laporta and what's his
Bowers.
name? Bowers, just slipped my mind. We've seen those guys come out and burst on the scene and put numbers up quickly. But usually, tight end, it usually kind of takes a little while for those guys to kind of, find their niche. But I think with Frank Reich being so, ecstatic about bringing him in, I think that the guy has a plan to utilize him in many different ways, which should be exciting for us because we haven't had a legitimate tight end since Keller.
Yeah. I mean, Conklin had volume because it was dink and dunk real fast, right? But there wasn't a downfield threat. If Conklin made a play more than 8 yards down the field, it was holy shit. But, it was a lot of 4 yards, turn, catch, fall forward for 6. But, yeah, Keller was the last threat that we had. And he had somebody at quarterback that wasn't really great as a passer. Sanchez was limited. Let's be realistic. But I think that both of these tight ends and whoever the rookie quarterback is in 27 should be ecstatic if they get drafted to the Jets. And the Jets have been ridiculed, and the Jets have been a team that people don't want to go to. But you look at the offensive line, you're going to be held upright. You look at the running game, you're going to have a running game to lean on. You look at your tight ends, and they always say the running game and a tight end is a young quarterback's best friend. Well, you got 2 tight ends. And then you're going to have a round 1 wide receiver on your left, a round 1 wide receiver on your right, a second round receiver in the slot, a first round tight end, a second round tight end, a round 2 running back, a round 1 left tackle, a round 1 right tackle, a round 2 right guard. The Jets have put a lot into this offense, and bringing in the quarterback next year. If you take the Jets out of it, if this was the Rams, you'd be like, holy shit, look at all the young talent they have on their first contract or their second contracts haven't hit yet. That rookie quarterback next year will be brought into a situation where he can be like, holy shit, this could really be something here with this team.
And I know it's super, super early, But do you have a non-Arch Manning quarterback that's coming out that you have your eye on?
There's a bunch, right? It's the M's: Mensa, Moore, Manning, Mateer. Like anyone with an M is like the hot name for me, right? Like I think there's a lot. I if it's not Manning, it's Moore. Yeah. And then Mensa would probably be third. I know Dom C said if Mensa came out this year, it would be his number one guy, even with Mendoza there. But, you know, I think Moore, if he fills out that frame a little bit, develops as a passer, he can go be QB1. But the beauty of the 27 draft, Kev, is that you don't have to be number one like you did this year to get the guy. And you don't have to be in the top 5 to get a guy. You can, and Mestamaker. Yes, thank you, ISU. I knew I was forgetting one. You know, the Broncos got Bo Nix, and they waited, and they were in the teens, and they just took who fell to them, and it worked out because the rest of their roster was good. That's where I think we can be. My dream is that we have a top 3 pick, and we're good enough, and our second pick is good enough where we feel we can get the quarterback there, and we take a Jeremiah Smith or a Stewart, and we take one of these elite players and say, yeah, we're good enough where we can wait on the quarterback. We're not missing on that blue chip talent. You know, if you pick 3 and 8, you can get your quarterback at 8. Take the best fucking player. If someone takes Manning, someone takes Moore, and then you're picking third, and you have your choice of Jeremiah Smith, the wide receiver, or you can go with Stewart and have this elite pass rush. Okay.
Yeah. See, from a comedy perspective, I'm hoping we end up with Moore. Because we got all that, because everybody had that
to avoid us. It's like, gotcha, bitch.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. It's like you try to dodge us, but now you have no choice. So from a comedy perspective, I hope Moore's our guy. And I honestly think, we've seen this in the past, right? I really think that from recent memory, the only guy that I could think about that was with that limited amount of starts that came out, it was good, was Cam Newton. But we've seen recently with a guy like Anthony Richardson, where he had all like these physical traits that everybody was like gushing over for that Moore had, but he didn't have the starts. And it's like the guy just wasn't it, So I think that a year that'll benefit him. And I think that with the picks that we have, I think that there's no way that you can avoid picking a quarterback, even if somehow we end up winning 8 or 9 games. Just with the mass of having 3 first-round picks and a second-round pick, and then their first next year, there's no way that they're not going to be able to trade up for a quarterback, even if they somehow be good this year.
We don't have to hear the word no.
Yeah.
We don't. Wherever we're at, granted, I hope the Colts are top 3, but we don't have to hear the word no. The Jets can go acquire whatever pick they want. The Jets can jump. If a pick is for sale, the Jets can't get outbid. So 3 and 8 with the Colts and the Cowboys. Someone broke down the other day that every other year Dak Prescott gets hurt and misses games. So they're not rooting for it. It's just a fact. It's a statistical fact. Every other year he misses games. So you hope that not that I'm wishing injury, but it's the NFL. Things happen, and you hope that we stay healthy, and our pick is the best of the worst of the 3.
I love Dak.
Oh,
mind if I get a quick plug in, sir, before I head out?
Never. Oh. Hold up. Full screen.
Full screen. Okay. So this weekend, WWE SummerSlam. 2-night affair, Saturday night, Sunday night. I will be going live on my channel. You see the handle right there, @TheFastCount, all one word. Last night we went live for a post-show following AEW Redemption. After I get off the call right now, probably record something on this episode of Monday Night Raw. You get professional wrestling coverage on a regular basis. So please, if you guys have the heart and if you guys seem to deem this fit, subscribe to @TheFastCount and check it out. That's it, Nick.
I'm back. I was in the chat reading comments and getting things together. You ended before I thought you would. Hashtag Diana Rossini quotes.
But all right,
Kev,
buddy,
I appreciate you, man. Enjoy the shows this weekend.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Talk soon, bro. Appreciate you. Folks, Georgie's back in the mix, ladies and gentlemen. Also, if you haven't already, join up to be a paying recurring member of the channel. And what do you get? Oh, I'll tell you what you get. This Saturday, we will have a wheel for all of the paying members in the month of January who sign up on their own. You will get a prize. We haven't figured out that prize yet. I will tell you that before this show, I was working on the Blitz. I was talking to Blitz and Cisco, and we were in StreamYard together, and we were revealing some of the merch, and Cisco and Blitz were taking a look at it. I'm hoping within the next day or two, I'm a perfectionist, and when I launch it, I want to make sure the prices are right. I was a bigger guy. I don't believe in charging more for larger sizes. So you got to adjust the profit rate to make sure and drop the profit rate for the big boys in the chat. I love you, big fellas. I don't want you guys paying more. So I want to get all the prices equal. So I'm being a little bit of a perfectionist with that. So we will have that at some point this week. I don't want to launch it and people say, well, why is this and this is that? So I'm running through everything possible to make sure that when it gets launched, there's no questions. There's cotton sweatshirts. There's the dry fit, higher quality sweatshirts. So we'll have multiple options depending on the quality that you want. We got coffee mugs, tumblers, t-shirts, hats, winter hats with the pom-pom ball on top, which I'm a big fan of, beanie hats. We got multiple logos. We got a lot going on. So next caller, ladies and gentlemen. Wait a minute. I see you coming back. Ricky, what up?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm swell. I'm tired. I didn't realize it's 9:30. But
Right,
other than that, things are good.
You've been going to bed early, right?
I have. But tonight with Dom's schedule, I had to start the show later. I was going to do the sauna tonight, but we're coming up on 2 hours. There's no way. I won't be going to bed till 11:30 by the time I do that and shower. But what's on your mind, my friend?
Well, you know what? As you were talking to Kevin, you said something interesting. Depending on where our picks fall, you could technically take a premium player that's not a quarterback with that first pick.
That's my dream.
Be able to get your quarterback.
That's my dream. Two dreams, right? Two dreams.
Yeah.
One, our pick is the worst of the three, and that the other two are so good that we don't have to take the quarterback first. We can take the Jeremiah Smith, the Stewart, Simmons, whoever you want to add, and just add another premium player.
Well, I'll tell you what. I really, I really like Leonard Moore, the corner from Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking just insanely good.
Yeah.
But that being said, dude, all along I've said, I wouldn't mind getting Stewart or Simmons to put across from Bailey as our long term.
Yeah. No, I agree. You add Smith, Stewart, Simmons. It's M's for quarterback. It's S's for the blue chip talent.
Yeah, and well, like I said, I like Leonard Moore a lot too, and
it fits. It fits with the M's.
Yes, and this one doesn't fit in any of those letters, but our third first rounder. Oh, I like Tay Johnson too, the safety from friggin' Notre Dame is insanely good, and I still want that guy in the deep middle back there. But I am a Mensa guy, just like Dom C. I have been since last year, and I think he's going to go down to Miami this year with Malachi Tony and Barkate, the kid that came with him from Duke. I think he's going to light it up, and I think his stock is going to go way up. But that is my guy. So, man, you know what? And I've been messing around this week a little bit, and I'm going to get all that mock draft shit out of my system now. Because
get it out, Rick. Training camp starts tomorrow. Get the mocks out, Rick.
Yes.
That shit, fucking
none of
suck
that
the
shit will
joint.
be
Get
going
that
on.
shit on. We got Jets football tomorrow, Ricky.
Yes, I know. But I
Sorry
couldn't
if you're
help
wearing
myself.
earbuds. My apologies
You know?
if you're wearing earbuds. My bad, dog.
So you know, I'm playing with those first ones, and then I'm going linebacker, center, all these things that we keep talking about, all of them filled. And then I see a vision of a complete top to bottom New York Jets team with no holes, no questions, no nothing, ready to compete. And I can't wait, man. Like I'm ready to get this year going. I'm really excited to see what these guys are going to do. You know, I'm a big A.D. Mitchell guy too. Can't wait for him to go out there and light it up and show everybody that he is the number 2 without question. And similar to what you guys were talking about, man, like I want to see who wins that corner job. I want to see who the safeties are. I want to see where guys are lining up. That's my biggest thing. I want to see where they're going to line these guys up and how they're going to use them. So, hey man, they're reporting tomorrow. You know, 48 hours from now, we'll have our first practice in the books, and we'll be able to talk about what we've seen on the field. Thank goodness, knock on wood, Jets football is back finally.
We made it. We made it. It's been a long off season, but in the morning we will have the walk-up videos of the veterans appearing. And no more bullshit. Sorry, Knobcraft, cover your ears. No more bullshit. Michael Clemens showing up like Tarzan and playing like Jane. New York Jet football is back. If you haven't already, go over, subscribe to Ricky New York Live. Stop smoking. It's not good for you.
Yeah, I know. I should have already. Yes, please go over and subscribe. We are only 14 subscribers away from 400 now after a big push a couple of days ago.
I'll create 14 accounts right now if you stop smoking cigarettes.
You know what? I may have to take
That took you too long, Ricky. It should have been fuck yeah.
You know what? I may just take you up on that. Oh, by the way, walk-up videos tomorrow. Jamal Adams, he still doesn't work.
He doesn't. Let him go to Minnesota. Enjoy that bullshit. Ricky, pleasure, my friend. I got to get in the bathroom. I got to pee, bro. Old man, small bladder.
All right, man. Well, have a good night. Everybody have a good night. And I will talk to you soon.
Be good, bro. Brian's calling me out. Cigars are good for you? No, but you don't inhale cigars. Listen, I've quit a lot of things in life. I quit a lot, but I don't inhale cigars. And I'm allowed to have one thing that I enjoy. Just one. Fire pits and cigars are the only things that I have left that I detach from the world. And, well, this too. So 3 things. Talking to you, fine people. Enjoying a cigar. And then a fire pit. But it's been so fucking windy lately. You can't even have a fire pit and enjoy it. So please don't yell at me, Brian. I know you are, but I felt the need to when you question cigars. I felt I got defensive there, Brian. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only. You know what? There we go. Perfect. Charles, I have to pee. I will play this and we'll bring Charles on. This was Saturday. Can't be Sunday. Hobby Lobby's closed on Sunday. Jesus. Gentlemen, the legend himself, Charles Gorman, fanny pack it all. What's up?
You look good, man.
Thank you. You look great. Stay back here. I got something for you, all right? So since you moved into this place, every time you call into a show or I stop by, I feel so bad that the back wall behind you is empty. So I was at the store. I didn't plan on it, but I saw this and I thought this would be perfect for you and perfect for your wall. So come check it out. Take a look.
Oh my God. Nick. You didn't have to fuck it. Oh my god, I feel like an asshole.
Why do you feel like an asshole, bro? I
It's
saw
beautiful.
this. Yeah, it's
Artwork
nice.
and everything.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, right?
It's beautiful. Where'd you get this?
Hobby Lobby.
Hobby Lobby, they sold this? Holy Toledo.
Now, here's the deal. If you can name everyone on here, you get to keep it.
Black Panther.
I'm
dude.
kidding. I know you can. You started doing it. That's great. So there's a thing on the back here too that has the whole map of everyone and who's who.
I know who's who, but it's great.
All right.
It's incredible. You did not have to do this.
Yeah, I know. I saw it and I was like, oh, that'd be perfect for the wall behind him.
Beautiful. The artwork is fantastic. I mean, there's a lot of great artwork done for these characters. I mean, if there's one thing that can help sell a comic book, it's good artwork as well as good writing and storytelling. And look, it's got the regular OG Venom. It's got anti-Venom on it. I mean, not anti-Venom, Agent Venom on there too. Flash Thompson. So I've always liked him. Whoever's watching this, I love Nick. He's like another brother to me. I know he tries to be more like a father to me, and I appreciate that too. It's incredible, man. I mean, this whole thing is incredible. Thank you so much, man.
You're welcome, buddy.
How's the kid? How's
Good.
Vicky? How's Sophia?
He's Charles. What up,
How you
dog?
doing, buddy? Good, man. Look, I was
Hold on a
telling
second.
Ricky in the chat,
Wait,
say
wait,
what
wait.
you said.
Hold on.
I'm not brushing my breath. I'm just doing this. I'm just.
No,
soaking up.
I'm trying to read your shirt. What is your shirt? Oh, okay. It's another language from another world and another dimension. Okay. I was trying to make it out, but I couldn't.
Oh, okay. I was telling Ricky in the chat. He probably didn't see it. Say it with your chest, Ricky. Say it with your chest. That he's happy. You know, being a Jet fan, that he's happy Jet football is back. Get out of your chest, buddy. That's what I meant to say.
All right.
Now, as for, I still think a kicker position. I mean, I think Jason Sanders should lock it down, but who knows? You know, I wouldn't mind if they bring in Daniel Carlson. I've always liked him because he was with the Raiders.
Okay. I hope one of these guys just kicks well enough to win it. I hope we don't have to keep searching. I hope that Banjo can just get it right with these guys, and I want to see 4 of 4, 5 of 5. It's neither guy can miss. Like, I want it to be a competition where it's like, shit, that guy kicked really good, we got to cut him. Not, oh man, this guy didn't kick too good, that's who we're keeping. You know, like, I want both guys to kick really well so that it's
100%, but you always got to have a backup plan, you know.
I hear you.
But yeah, man. I mean, so how you been? How'd it go with Dom? Yeah, I just tuned in.
Bill
Is it
MS,
on
is
the
it on the
wall?
wall?
No, not yet. No.
Now you know I want to put it on the wall, right? You right where you call in, like back there behind you, so that
Yeah,
like when
yeah.
you
What
lean
you said, I
back,
want both my
we should be able to
posters up
see
on
it.
the wall behind me. Yeah,
Yeah, put the big one in front and center.
that's 100%. That's what I definitely plan on doing.
All right, stop rubbing your breast, please, while you're talking to me. Thank you.
I'm just soothing myself. I'm not rubbing. Well,
Fold your hands like a gentleman, because you know that. There you go. You don't have to block your face. Like, you can just hold them and keep them down, and there you go. Is Ken still the maintenance man there?
he's there. The other Kenny's there too, the younger one.
Okay. All right. Yeah, just they'll get to you. It was the weekend, so they had Sunday off probably, right? So they'll get to you.
Yeah.
Send me a picture when it's up. Text me a picture when it's up on the wall.
I will definitely do that.
All right. ISU asked, "Are you giving yourself a mammogram?"
Yes, I'm giving myself a mammogram. Yes, I don't have breast cancer. Yes.
Yo Home says you can't be squeezing those on YouTube. It's not OnlyFans.
Well, I am on OnlyFans on the Talking Jets panel, so maybe it is an OnlyFans.
Are you paying me to plug other shows during this one?
No, I'm not.
Focus on the goddamn task at hand here, okay?
It's not OnlyFans. Yeah, boy.
Leave the jokes to me, all right? You're better at being funny when you're not trying to be funny.
So you say.
I do. Not just me. I think a lot of people believe that. You're funny when you're not trying to make the joke. I'm good at making the joke. You're good at just being Charles, and that's enough for all of us.
So my jokes stink. Yours is awesome. I'm just funny when I'm not being funny.
I think that's the promo for the show now.
Oh, great. So my jokes suck. Great.
Go ahead. Make everyone laugh. Let's go. Do it.
Figaro.
I rest my case. Go ahead. I'm waiting. We won't end the show till you make everyone laugh.
Yeah, well, no, I know I'm funny. I was just, I sometimes make good jokes, but it just
putting pressure on you right now. I want to see if you can perform under pressure. You have the mic in your hand on the Nick Shine Show right now. Wayne Corbett was sitting in the goddamn seat that you were 8 days ago. What do you got?
Damn, I can't do it right now. Oh my god.
That's what she said. See? Look at that.
That's
Wasn't
what she
even
said
funny.
and what you wanted.
That's it.
That's what she said and you wanted.
Oh, you wanted her to say that to you? You said, no, I'm looking for love. Don't touch me there. I'm a virgin. See? It just comes natural.
You're really gay. As in happy. Gay also means happy too, guys. It doesn't just mean homosexual. You frozen?
No, I'm just waiting for you to make a joke.
Oh.
All right, Charles. Thoughts on the Yankees? Can they get fucking hits or what?
I don't know. Maybe Brian Cashman gets his head out of his ass. I have no freaking idea. Maybe Brian Cashman. Maybe Brian Cashman. People say Brian Cashman make a splash in free agent. How about Brian Cashman starts playing baseball? Is this guy thinks he's such an expert? Why don't he start playing baseball?
You want to bring a 65-year-old, 5'8" guy into the baseball lineup, Charles? That's what are you bringing in? Yogi Berra back from the dead too as a catcher?
Hell yeah, do that. I'd rather bring back Yogi Berra. I'd rather dip him to the Lazarus pit and bring him back to have him play for the Yankees. Yes.
What's the Lazarus pit?
That's the one where Ra's al Ghul goes in to keep himself young and vitalized. And
Isn't that the Fountain of Youth in Florida?
No, that's completely different. It's a completely different.
Any relation to Swamp Thing?
No, it's a different character.
It was a good TV show on Channel 11 when I was a kid, Swamp Thing.
I heard it was a good animated series. I heard the most recent series.
It wasn't animated. It was an actual TV series where the guy was dressed up like a fucking thing of poison ivy or just swamp guy.
I heard it was good. Yeah, I heard it was very good. Yeah.
All right. Who told you? Your dad?
No, my dad never really. I don't think my dad has ever heard of Swamp Thing, but my I heard he's had a lot of good Swamp Thing series over the years. The characters, so I'll check that out when I get the chance. But
Jake has a super chat for you. Thank you, Jake Asman.
It's an anime thing.
Do it. I have no idea what you guys are saying.
I can't go Super Saiyan Goku 3.
One more time? One more time? Someone might have missed it.
Okay, so I'm having sex. Okay, never mind.
How would you know what having sex looks like?
You don't want to know.
Ladies and gentlemen, the perverted one. Listen, if you're getting in my truck on Saturday, I need to make sure you get a hazmat spray down before you enter.
What are you talking about?
Pervert. I want you touching my truck.
I wash my hands every day.
Yeah, but what time of day?
when I use the bathroom, when I eat my food, that sort of thing.
Oh, multiple times a day, not just once a day?
Yeah, multiple times a day, yes.
All right. I'm just checking. I was trying to get you there in the corner and see if we can get you.
I'm not a dirty bastard.
What
I'm
are you?
perverted, yes, but I have standards.
What's your standard, Charles? Watching videos less than 5 minutes?
No.
Bill says your soap dispenser has dust on it.
My soap dispenser does not have dust on it.
Do you have a soap dispenser? Do you have a
Yeah,
bar
it
of
has
soap,
one.
or do you have a pump push bottle?
I have a pump. It doesn't have dust on it.
Is it open?
No, it's closed.
What are you eating?
Fruit gushers.
You're the epitome of health, young man.
Yes, I'm a shitty health person. Yes.
I didn't say shitty. I didn't degrade you. I just said you were the epitome of health.
And that's sarcasm, I can tell.
He's Charles.
Damn right I'm me.
All
I
right,
wouldn't
Chuck.
have it any other.
You wouldn't have it any other way.
If I wasn't myself, where would I be?
Would you take being shortstop of the New York Yankees over being Charles?
If the pay's good.
Go search what the average on the Major League Baseball shortstop makes. Yes. You would be taller, more athletic, rich, not a virgin. You wouldn't take being shortstop of the Yankees right now today. Your life changes. You're 6 foot. You're batting second for the Yankees. You're an all-star shortstop. You wouldn't trade that life? I would trade that life.
I would. I'm not saying I wouldn't, but
all right, let's say this. How about you are the heir apparent to Stan Lee's fortune?
That would be good too.
Okay. How about, all right, help me in the chat here. Other lives that Charles would trade. Would you trade for Jake Asman's life? Wow.
Interesting,
Charles,
interesting choice.
biggest Jet YouTube show there is, ESPN radio host, great humanitarian, genius at the blackjack table, knows all the right moves to make. Venmo's Charles whenever he needs a meal. You would send the Venmos. We'd have to teach you how to send a Venmo and not receive it, but we could work on that.
I haven't sent Jake a Venmo in months. Excuse me.
I know you haven't sent.
I
you said Jim Irsay. Damn, dude,
Jim
too soon.
Irsay. The guy's dead. Thank you. The guy's dead. Come on now, bro. No. You want me to respond to Jim Irsay? The guy's dead.
What about Jim Irsay's daughter? Would you trade for her life right now? She's on the sideline with a clipboard as the owner of the team trying to learn about football. Would you trade for that life? You'd have those
Hell yeah.
legs. All right, there you go.
I would bang her too.
Who's your favorite female porn star?
Oh, stop it.
Would you trade for her life?
Me getting plowed by the dudes? No.
That's the part that you thought of? I just thought about being rich and famous.
Getting rich and having a lot of money is gonna help, but it's not gonna solve all my problems.
I didn't say it would solve your problems. I'm just trying to figure out if you would trade for their life.
I would love to work at a video game store. I would love to work at a comic book store. I would love to work at a comic book company.
How about owning the comic book company? Let's shoot big here, Gorman. That's why I said Stan Lee, his heir apparent. Weed says, release a sex tape and you'll be rich and famous too.
I had a feeling we was gonna go there. Be like Kim Kardashian.
Wait a minute. He's trying to get you to go there. He's been there. Also, I assume you'd have the vagina if you traded for Ursay's daughter life, and you did that one instantaneously. You didn't think that one through.
Yeah, probably we need to rethink that.
She's getting plowed by Jonathan Taylor, probably.
How the
I
hell
don't
do you know?
I don't know, Charles.
Oh.
I'm very tired right now. I'm not used to being up this late.
I
Would you
would love to
trade
own the
for, how about Brees Hall's life? How about Tobey Maguire's life?
Because he's having a thing with Ice Spice.
I have no idea who he's having a thing with. I'm just saying, you'd be the running back of the New York Jets. You'd be Spider-Man actor. Who's the other one? Who's the young kid right now?
Tom Holland is about my age.
Okay. Well, that to me is a young kid, Charles. I'm old.
I know what you mean.
How about
Robert Downey Jr.?
He's old. He would have won an older life. Trying to think of younger people for you. Arch Manning.
Nah, too inconsistent.
And what the fuck are you? Wait a minute. Wait.
As a football player, I'm talking about too inconsistent as a football
6'5", super athletic freak, probably going to be the top quarterback in the NFL and make $500 million in his career. And you're like, nah, that life ain't good enough for me. I'm Charles.
I mean, I'm the talent. I'm not denying, but he's been very inconsistent in his college career so far. So, I mean, he is an athletic freak. I'm not denying that.
Brees Hall is with Ice Spice.
Brees Hall's with Ice Spice?
You said it on air before.
No,
people in the chat are
Maguire's
asking.
with Ice Spice.
What?
Tobey Maguire's with Ice Spice, apparently.
Tobey Maguire is with Ice Spice with the orange curly hair that Sauce Gardner was hanging out with?
Yeah. Some chicks like older guys.
Charles, you are a beacon of light and hope for humanity, my friend.
I appreciate that. Have a good day, my friend.
Hold on, wait. Knob Crab with a super chat. Thank you, Knob. Charles is refusing to ask, so I will. How much does Jake pay you to get the cereal from the top shelf? I'm feeding him lines and he's ignoring them.
I don't get the cereal from the top shelf. My cereal is right there.
All right, folks. Don't say anything, Charles. How many how many different brands of cereal do you have? Charles, I can't see your nubs. You have one box of cereal right now.
Two. I have 2 boxes of cereal.
But it's the same cereal?
Yes.
Okay. Folks, first person to guess what brand of cereal Charles has wins a raffle entry. Go. You have 30 seconds. God, I hope we get to see Connie dance and celebrate so many times this year. This team has taken so much joy from all of us.
You don't say.
All right. We have guesses in the chat. Tom A says Captain Crunch. Don't respond yet. ISU and Blitz BK said Lucky Charms. Boomtown says Cheerios. Paul says Cocoa Pop. Bill says Lucky Charms as well. Yo Holmes says Cookie Crisp. Blitz BK says Ice Spice is a rapper. Is it a question? Bill says Fruity Pebbles. Knob says Grape Nuts because he just wants nuts in your mouth. Weed says Connie Crip Walking. Tom Ace, Cinnamon Toast Crunch is Captain Crunch. Oh, CT Crunch. All right. I thought it was Captain. My bad, dog. All right. Brother Yeti says Crunch Berries. I'm going to say, just to pick something different, Frosted Flakes. Charles?
It is neither one of those choices.
Speak! Go over, get the box of cereal, and give us the big reveal. Special K? That's like borderline healthy. Who are you, and what did you do with Charles?
I asked my dad to get it for me. And it's got berries in it. Strawberries.
I saw. I did not expect that.
Expecting someone else? I love my life.
Thank you
For
for
the
that.
most part, anyway.
I love your life too, buddy. I'm glad you're happy. I'm glad that you enjoy being you.
Let me tell you something. If you don't love yourself, how can you love other people? It's the truth, right? How can you love other people if you don't love yourself?
You're preaching, Charles.
Oh, I know it's like 10 o'clock where we are, but have a good night, buddy. Stay safe. Tell your son Nikki and Sophie I said hi. And tell them don't be a stranger.
Charles,
What?
the man in your closet is trying to get out. Let him free. Oh, I removed him before he got the lead. Hell yeah. Score one for the big guy. Ladies and gentlemen, I am old. I am not used to being up this late. I'm going to throw him on the spot. I know he's been here for most of the show. I'm very happy to see that. Hey, it's 10 p.m. where I am too. Hey, it's 10 p.m. on the East Coast. Do you know where your Gormans are? Did you say it? All right. I know I saw it in there. That's what she said. And you got one for the super chat and for that. Now, earlier in the show, Cisco gifted 5 channel memberships. So we are going to spin the wheel because Cisco is ineligible to win prizes on this show. That's his ruling, not mine. Oh, look at that. NJ Health. On the go protein made with real food from Whole Foods. All right. Here we go. These are for Cisco's 5 raffle entries tonight. Last call for raffle entries. Before we do this wheel, Sunday night, we have full-size Garrett Wilson helmet. Get your raffle entries in. Appreciate everybody and all their contributions to this channel, making it the best that it can be. We're going to shuffle 2 times because Charles had 2 boxes of coffee or boxes of cereal. I'm tired. And these are for 5 more raffle entries for Sunday. And it goes to Georgie. Woohoo! Woo! Georgie back in the mix. Georgie, if you are, I tried to find you on Discord. I couldn't find you. So hit me up if you're on Discord. We'll get you back into back in the mix there. Ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you, I received before the show a new song from Blitz BK. We got a project that Cisco and Blitz are working on together for the program here. So stay tuned. Tom Ace, your integrity, bro. Your integrity. Sorry now. He's always yelling at me at bedtime. He gets so fucking cranky. Just go to bed peacefully, bro. You don't have to treat me like shit before you fucking lay your head down and close your eyes. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be back tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. Veterans Report, Integrity Farms. Integrity. That Cisco Lopez, he got integrity. Thank you to everyone who contributed during the program tonight. 6:30 p.m. tomorrow. Veterans Report. Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Ryan Sampson, New York Post. Defensive line breakdown. Thursday night, training camp recap. We'll also have that Wednesday. Friday night, we're off. Saturday night, training camp recap, 7 p.m. Sunday, 7 p.m. Football's back, ladies and gentlemen. the Nick Shine Show. I don't do as many shows as Jake Asman. Jake's one of one for a reason. But after Jake's second show, come check us out over here. We're going to be covering everything. We'll have Aaron Glenn's press conferences each day. We'll break that down. We'll see what you guys got to say. We'll cover the big stories from camp. We'll cover the big plays. Slow motion passes. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Nick Shine, the host of the Nick Shine Show, produced by Cisco Lopez, music by Blitz BK. You are the awesome chat. Charles Gorman has a freaking thing that's larger than him. Football's back, baby. God bless. Peace. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. See you tomorrow, 6:30. Go Jets!
Gentry covered in football.
Any day, any night, we all shine, bro. First class shine time, the Nick Shine Show. Anytime on YouTube, if you don't know, the Nick Shine Show, the Nick Shine Show. Dim the lights, but it's still bright as Nick time. Day or night, this is his prime, it's Nick Shine. Proud fan, well defined, to get in line. Toe to toe with any show, he only got 9. The best show on YouTube, bro, is easy. We talk Jets all day, please believe me. Subscribe, you just gotta click the family. We not a click in 3D. You can see a beautiful DP. We see through the fake teams and the tea leaves. So we pray for a coach and a QB and hope that we close to the top in the new league. A toast to the host with the most, Nicky. Who, me? Any day, any night, we all shine, bro. First class shine time, the Nick Shine Show. Anytime on YouTube, if you don't know, the Nick Shine Show, the Nick Shine Show.
Fantastic.
Listen, buddy, I love you. I think you're a nice guy, but you get a little cranky. You work a lot of hours. You're up at 4 o'clock in the morning most days, and then you stay up, and then you treat me like shit in front of everybody, and I don't like this. I feel that I deserve better in life, and if this is the way that you're going to be, this long distance relationship. Oh my.
Here we go, baby. J-E-T-S, Jets, 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 let's go, baby.